Five, four, three, two, one, and we're live. Hello, all, and welcome back to the INVICTUS stream. My name, as always, is Mr. Harlan Guthrie, and I am here with my ruthless friend Chris.
I'm gonna kill you.
My hedonistic friend Justin.
I don't even know what that means.
And my progressive friend Mycl.
I say we go now.
And we are back with Dragon Age Part 2 game. No, Dragon Age 2 Part 8. I keep wanting to say part, but it's Dragon Age 2 Part 8. And we are so excited to be here. Last week was an explosive week. We were, man, our backs were against the wall with choices that we had to make. Some right, some wrong, I don't know. And spoilers, two of our very best friends passed away. Faust died in the arms of nobody. And my other friend, my very good friend, Karthus.
and I was really close to Nikoro, so.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, yeah, but he kind of hated you.
He was a jerk.
He was a jerk, but maybe you love him because of that. But anyway, they died last week, and now we have to deal with the outfall of that. I don't know why you're applauding for that, but okay.
You guys are sick. You're all sick.
So last week was a very, very tough game, and this week we're excited to get back to it. But before we do, this is, of course, an 18-plus game. This is an 18-plus game because we like to say no-no words. What kind of no-no words, Chris?
Titmouse.
Yeah, that's one of the most no-no words that we know. So if you are uncomfortable with swears, go ahead, close the YouTube video. We will understand. But before you do, go ahead and like the video. In fact, everybody watching this video at this point, go ahead and like the video. I know it seems lame for me to ask that, but you know what? We don't get anything out of this other than your likes.
We're role players. We're not too proud.
No, we're very not proud. In fact, those likes are what feed our children and our children's children and the Titmouse's children. So please go ahead and like our video. It makes us feel really special. If you're on Twitter, please go ahead and follow us on Twitter. We are at INVICTUS Stream. We have recently got rid of the spam that I think was flogging down our shit. It was funny because Justin and I sort of bounced back and forth on managing the Twitter feed. And every once in a while, we'd get like someone liked a, you're the Walking Dead character Tirashan, or you're most like a pug, like dog. Did you see those?
I saw the Walking Dead one, but I didn't see the pug one.
You didn't do the Walking Dead one, right?
Well, the Walking Dead one I thought was you. I was like,
okay, oh, so that's what I'm saying. So I saw that, and people liked it, and no problem for liking it. But I figured Justin had done this like survey on Twitter, and he was like, whatever. And then I saw the dog one. I'm like, that doesn't seem like Justin. And Justin simultaneously saw those and thought it was me. And it wasn't until today I'm like, okay, are you doing these weird quizzes? And he's like, no. Until we realize, yeah, no, our Twitter feed's been hacked. So any weird quizzy things that pop up, they're not us. That's not really.
Yeah, let us know if you see that. Yeah, let us know if you see that, because
please do.
I don't know.
Unless it says what kind of porn star are you, in which case that I would take that quiz because I want to know whether I'm huge mungus or Dong Slinger 48.
Ron Jeremy.
I was gonna say, why would a porn star have 48 in his name anyway? Why do they think that? That's a terrible example.
Oh, number 48.
Yeah. So go ahead and follow us on Twitter. We are spam free. Also, if you're on Facebook, and you should be on Facebook, go ahead and like our Facebook page and join our Facebook group. They're two different things, and we love and respect both of them very, very much. And if you're on YouTube and you're liking the video, make sure you subscribe. And I'm also going to ask you guys to do this. If you're watching this right now, and there are at least 12 of us here hanging out, go ahead, mention the stream to other people. If you use Twitter, if you use Facebook, yeah, I mean, I get it. You might not, you want to admit to your friends that you're a role player, but if there are people that you think might be role players, go ahead and recommend them your favorite video of ours, or tell them to check us out sort of in an off-the-cuff thing. We do this because we don't want to do advertising and things like that, but at the same time, getting the word out and letting people hear about us is like the most helpful thing that you guys can do. So feel free to share any one of our videos, Justin's Codex entries, our Kingdom Death Monster video with Chris gluing his own hand, one of the Spooky Game Night streams, or any of our main videos, or even Michael's Review Corner. Anything like that. If you guys liked a video, or particularly think a friend would like it, go ahead and share it, because that really helps us.
Actually, on that, can I just say that we just had 3 people join our Facebook group. So welcome to you, Sebastian, Pierre, and Eric. And I think you guys all know each other because you're all from the same town. Where did it go? Sherbrooke.
That sounds like a delicious Willy Wonka town.
This is the part in the rock show where the guitarist goes, "This is the greatest town in the world." Shove it!
If you don't know each other, that's wicked weird.
That's really
Not
wicked
Boston.
weird. Yeah. No, he's wicked with it. It's Jared. No, but thank you for joining. And yes, so go ahead, share the news and all that kind of good stuff. When you join the group, actually, you are always welcome to take part in the most valuable post. The MVP, as we call it, we invented the initials MVP, is it's sort of a way that we reward people who post during the week on the Facebook group. And it can be a matter of things that will earn you a little bit of experience points. It can be funny posts, it can be conversation starters, it can be just general discussions, it can be arguments over whether you finish the crust on your pizza or not. It can be a multitude of different things. And if you post and you're sort of generally interesting, or you have stuff that you want to share, be interesting. That's the key here. No, but if you have stuff that you want to share, stories and the like, post them, and you may win the most valuable post. When you win the most valuable post, you get a little bit of experience points, and you can spend experience points to change the way we play. And to announce this week's most valuable post winner, I am going to introduce my very sexy friend, Mr. Mycl Barber.
Why, thank you, Harlan. I appreciate that. MVP. Again, another great week of posts. We're going to do a special thing this week. I'm going to name 2 that were in the running this week, and then we're going to name another one that we're going to give a special little thing for, which I'll throw back to Harlan a little bit later. Just give me a little taste right now. But right now, the 2 that I'd like to call out would be Galen Fjord and a Speaking Skaldic. Give it a little listen. It's very cool sounding. And as Mr. Harlan Guthrie already alluded to, Mark Lane posted a very controversial post on whether or not it counts as eating a piece of pizza if you do not eat the crust, which we all know it does not.
That's count. Right. It does not count.
That's the opinion of the Invictus stream.
No. This is I am the GM.
The opinion of the majority of the Invictus stream.
I'm currently the GM. Okay, all right. We're in episode 8, motherfucker.
You probably also like Druid too, don't you, GM?
But you know what? Okay, to clarify, the question was, does it count as eating a piece of pizza? And I still would argue that no. I mean, you could say I had some pizza, but you didn't eat the whole thing. Anyway, sorry, Mycl, go ahead.
Sorry. But this week's MVP is going to go to Mark Lane in your controversial pizza post.
That's right, because out of everyone, there were only 2 people that sided with not eating the crust, and that was Trevor Toth and Justin James. And because Justin's the GM, we have to win it. We have to give it to the Mark Lane.
Congratulations, those of you who don't eat the crust. You've been eating pizza your whole life.
But I've seen you eat the crust.
I will eat the crust.
So you're just a defender.
This is a matter of human rights.
You're the
so
defender.
Justin, if you go to university for 4 years, but you don't finish the last semester, do you still, you're still a PhD
you still graduate?
Student? Yeah, I still got my degree.
If you cut off a guy's body and murder it, but you leave the head, did you not murder him? Is he still good?
No, he's still good. He's still good.
Okay.
If you,
my logic is sound, and you guys
get ready, guys. This is probably the last episode for Dragon Age because he probably didn't finish it.
I'll show you guys.
No, you did finish it.
It's done. So congratulations, guys. You're done.
You made it.
So done. That's funny though. Anyway, so well done, Mark, on a very controversial and interesting post. He actually posted another one today about, now this I have never heard of. And maybe it's just a Canadian in me, maybe it's just the ignorance out of me, but he posted today about putting peanuts in Coke bottle and drinking it. Okay,
Why?
I'm not the only one.
I hadn't heard of that either.
Is it like, does it foam like as if you put Mentos?
I think my understanding is it's like a sweet little crunchy thing while you drink.
No, he did,
like at the bottom.
He did also post a little link that actually talks about it.
Yeah, which I
This is apparently a Southern thing.
Yes, which would make sense.
And he did post a video as well, which was pretty good because it's like,
I love how we're like,
how to make your drink.
Southern. That makes sense now.
Just the Southern people.
Oh, it's a Southern thing.
I honestly think that I'd like it. I've got peanuts upstairs. I've got Coke
try it.
upstairs. I think I might try it.
Experiment.
I would never say that I don't think I would like it, but I think I wouldn't see the value in just the time saved and combine the two. I feel like I could take a swig and chomp a few people. Like, you know what I mean? I don't see the night and day difference. But to my to my defense or whatever, I have yet to try it, so I should try it too. Let's try it together.
Heck, I don't need to use 2 hands now.
Just put them in my bottle and then I'm done. All right. Anyway,
up my other hand. All right. The other one we wanted to talk about was a new little thing. I think we talked about it last week.
We did. We touched on it last week, and thank you, Mike. And the idea moving forward in the new game in the new year is we are retooling the XP, which means all of the values are going to kind of reset to an extent. You'll still have XP, but they're going to be much lower, and the way to earn it is going to be much tougher, but the way you spend it is going to be much more valuable, and such as environmental sort of changes. And one of the best ways you're going to get to spend XP moving forward is to change the environment. And we're going to go into the details about how that matters. But the big distinction between this and sort of like a GM intrusion is that when starting the new year, when you can change the environment, you're going to be able to change elements. So let's say you want to switch day to night, or raining to fog, or fog to clear skies, or clear skies to fog, or fill a street with pebbles, or fill a stream with murky water, or lizards and things like that. Environmental changes. You're going to be able to work with the GM to sort of on the fly add elements to the world that will then give us challenges. And it's different because in the past you guys have sort of given us a way to say, make Penth fall, or make a bird poop on Penth, or something like that. Penth is getting a lot of hit slack here. I'm sorry, but
because he shaved. No one likes
because he shaved. I know. Well, that works for me. Now I'm the only guy with sort of this going on. Justin's he's very thin. Mike shaved his beard too. I didn't notice that. Sorry. Mike.
Well, it's because your buttholes are no longer top of my mind. I don't care.
Oh, I want you to think of my butthole. Anyway, so environmental changes will be things that you can change the environment that will cause the GM to maybe make us make an extra roll. If it's night now, try to look a little harder in the dark. If you fill a street with stone pebbles, we may have to make a dexterity to not slip and fall. But they won't alter the way we play. We'll still have free choice. And more on that in the future, but that's just a little example of one of the changes we're going to make to how you guys are going to spend. One of the changes we made to how you guys are going to earn is we are keeping the mid-game post, we are keeping the MVP, but the third way is called Brood XP. Or sorry, the third way is the endgame post. But the sort of new beast that we're tacking onto this is called Brood XP. And Brood XP is a reward system that we can give you guys stuff on the fly for things that are mailed to us, artwork that is done. And in this case, going above and beyond sort of the call of duty and creating something that is inspired by the stream and wholly appreciated by the stream, but you took a great deal of effort to make it. And this I would categorize under art, to be honest. But we would like to reward the very first honorary Brood XP to longtime viewer Mr. Hunter Olsen. Hunter transcribed, novelized, I should say, the first episode, the first part of this strange RPG, which was no small task. I think, was that the one that was 56 pages? No, maybe I'm totally wrong. It was long, though. And credit to him. Hunter tirelessly worked at transcribing the video, taking our audio, adding passages of text to sort of combine the scenes, and made the entire first part of The Strange into a novelization of sorts. And that is just fantastic. We love this stuff. And this is why we have invented Brood XP, to reward you guys for the artwork, the stories that you write about us. I mean, it's always about us. But to kind of reward that, because the guys and gals who go the extra mile are just fantastic. Another one who I'm going to announce at a later date, but to give you a flavor, is Laureen, who drew a picture of me for the Spooky Game Night stream. We have a slew of things behind me, letters that were sent to us, buttons that were sent to us. All this stuff is what we've created Brood XP to reward and sort of excite and entice you guys, and also say thank you. So well done, Hunter. Fantastic job. Of course, we're going to do the mid-game posts. So about halfway through the game, we're going to stop the action, and you guys will have to post. Friday night, we're doing a Spooky Game Night stream at 9 o'clock again. We are starting The Evil Within. And The Evil Within is a pretty long sort of third-person horror game by Bethesda, produced it or distributed. I can't remember who made it. But I played a bit of it before. I've never finished it, but it's pretty creepy. So, Chris, you might want to drop by and check it out. You
Maybe I'll
spooked out
take a few tranquilizers before I get there, so I seem more manly. What are we doing in the new year? Because we're doing. You know, you mentioned that we have a few changes to the XP, but what's happening with the whole system? Should we?
Yeah,
we're having some big changes.
We are doing a lot of big changes. Actually, we're going to be changing sort of the way you've seen us. We are going to be keeping, well, we're going to be keeping us. We're going to be changing the way you can spend and earn XP. We're going to be changing title cards. We're going to be changing the way we sort of start the games as well.
Invictus 2.0.
Invictus 2.0. So there's a lot of exciting stuff we're going to talk about. And sort of at the end of the year, I think we're going to do sort of a hangout / that big end year game, as well as a bunch of posts to inform you guys so you are well informed.
And to go back, I mean, I love one of my favorite intrusions we did. I know we're changing the system for the intrusions, like you said, with the environment. Like I was talking with Mike the other day. I was like, one of my favorite intrusions that happened was during Numenera when they made a bug crawl into Mike's skin.
That's right.
Like there was bugs, and it happened to crawl into his skin, and then they decided that I just like that, you know, the environmental stuff.
I totally agree. And a perfect example, of how these environmental changes are different than, say, like a intrusion of sorts, and that's a great example too. But in the Strange game, a GM intrusion forced Chris's character to pick up poo and throw it, and that's not what we're going to be doing with the environmental. But the environmental intrusion may say that there's poo everywhere, and if he chooses to pick it up, then fair enough. Or maybe he'll make a saving throw or something like that. It's going to affect the environment, not the player choice, and that preserves our will as well, and allows us to still build characters that you guys care about, and to hopefully create sort of that sense of honesty within them, so they're not forced to do silly things. But yeah, so Friday night, Spooky Game Night stream. All very exciting. Also, I'm playing The Witcher now, and The Witcher's a lot like Penth. Oh. So if anyone has not played The Witcher, play it, because he is a lot like Penth.
Cool.
That's sort of.
I've wanted that game for a while. And you got on sale.
Witcher 3 I bought on sale, yeah. It was on GOG. I can't remember.
Have you slept with a few women already?
Not yet.
You work at it. There's a certain combination. Look it up.
Are you going to marry them and then?
In The Witcher, you don't marry women.
Because that's the only way you can sleep with them. You have to marry them first.
I thought it wasn't physically possible unless.
Oh, Justin. No, but it's funny because there were two scenes while I was playing The Witcher that I was like, yeah, this is Penth. And one of them was, I sold them both to Justin, and one of them was, he's very like mercenary. He doesn't do anything without gold because he wants the gold for The Witcher. It's like their code, which isn't exactly Penth, but it just, one of his lines was like, well, how much money can I get for it? And I was thinking, oh, that's kind of Penthian. But the other one was, what was it, Justin? I said
Penthian, I like that. Sounds like a philosophy.
Bow shaming?
No. Well, he's very much on that sort of pride thing too. He's very much like, you only use a sword, I don't really use a bow. Although, oh yeah, because at one point someone hands him a crossbow and he still takes it, but he's like, really? We're gonna abandon the sword for ranged fighting? And he likes to, but there, I can't remember exactly.
Is he played by Will Arnett?
He does have that little voice. He does, actually. That's the only thing I'm not crazy about. That and his long hair, which I modded out. I bought the first mod I got.
Oh, his great hair.
I hate long hair. I can't. I just have it. That's why. Anyway, I just thought that was really.
You were so much more handsome back then with the long hair.
Oh, now, you were so much more handsome when you had the beard.
I'm growing it back.
All right, enough of this. We are ready and willing. And
no, we're not. No, we're not.
No,
I apologize. Well, we got two things. Number one, just to answer the live chat. Yes, erotic fan fiction counts. And yes, if you send us some, we will read it out loud together.
Oh my God, I would love.
We will do it as an around the table.
Totally.
We'll even all sit on the same couch, all cuddled together.
I'm not even kidding. I would love erotic fan fiction.
That would be great. Yeah.
Oh, okay. The other thing is, we didn't call out yet our community stream. If you guys haven't checked it out, check out our community stream because they just finished a campaign.
Dungeon World. Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry,
Dungeon World by Jeff Romo, GM the entire thing.
Fantastic job. Absolutely. And this is the place where you guys, if you want to join and play games together online, absolutely. Contact Chris Lawrence. He's been doing a fantastic job of running things and keeping things going smoothly for us.
Yeah. And you can just email the Invictus community at gmail.com. If you want to join a game, join the game that way. We want you to get into a game.
So Emagin, you have a vision of a bunch of people sitting around computers talking, and it's like this strange world that you've never seen before. But see what the game, folks.
What the people don't understand is this is also when we get together and talk as friends. Yeah. So we have things that we want to talk about on my mind. Like right now, I cannot get over why people like Johnny Depp. It's been bothering me lately. But we'll move past it. Let's start with the game, and we'll come back to Johnny Depp during the mid-game post. Because seriously, like
the Invictus stream where we don't focus.
But who goes to this movie to Johnny Depp's in this? Oh, Mike left, so perfect. Okay, look, Johnny Depp. I don't get it. Maybe, in the 80s, yeah, he was good. But
Pirates of the Caribbean, he was pretty good in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Okay, but that was
the first one.
2001?
Come out with another one.
I know. Like, how does he still have the star power to pull anything? I don't enjoy him at all.
Because he's kind of like an enigma, I guess. It's more his personality.
Now Johnny Depp is going to give us a dislike.
Oh, damn it, Johnny. Look, I'm all for his classic works, but lately I can't name a movie in the
Fear and Loathing? Yeah, right?
Yeah, but name one in the past 10 years is any good.
Alice in Wonderland?
Oh my god. We saw that together, Chris and
I didn't like it. He assumes I liked it.
Loved it.
I did not.
My wife and I left being
it was better than Dread. It was better than Dread. I'll give you that.
It was better than Dread.
All right. You know what? It was not better than Dread.
He's a better actor than, anyways.
Carl Urban?
I don't think I've seen a Johnny Depp movie in the past 10 years.
No. Well, I think the last one I saw was part of that terrible...
Sweeney Todd?
The one he was fat in. You know what? Sweeney Todd wasn't bad, but in all fairness, was he really...
That's the character. Like you're playing...
character. He wasn't really that great in it. He wasn't even that good of a singer.
He wasn't playing Johnny Depp. He was playing some character.
Yeah, right? What kind of actor does that?
I don't know.
I always see him as Johnny Depp. I don't care what character he's playing. I've never been convinced and wowed. Like, whoa, that's Johnny Depp?
Or
have you seen the new... I'm not going to say anything.
Maybe you have seen Johnny Depp like that, but you didn't know it was Johnny Depp. That's how good it was.
That would be pretty cool. Hold on, have you seen
Grindelwald?
What have you seen? What have you seen?
I don't want to talk about it. You've probably already seen it.
I saw Doctor Strange.
No, I'm not going to talk about it.
No? Arrival?
No.
Hacksaw Ridge?
I'm going to ruin it. I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
You'd be grumpy if I said anything because you'd be like, shit.
Well, but I'm confused. What?
Because Johnny Depp. There's a movie with Johnny Depp in it that you haven't seen yet. That you don't know that it's Johnny Depp.
That he did a cameo in it? I know he did a cameo in that last Kevin Smith movie.
No.
Well, now I'm going to Google this.
Yeah, that's fine. It's
going to be Star Wars. It's going to be.
That'd be bad.
That'd be so terrible.
The Return of Jar Jar.
I still think that looks good, but for whatever reason. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's okay. I won't ruin it for everybody else.
Well, that's gonna be the next one. I kind of already did, but it's funny because it relates to this game. So we're like, was he talking about that, or was he talking about that?
You're right. You know what? And I read that because apparently it was they already announced the sequel, and they were like, he's starring in the sequel, and I was like, well, there you go, I just ruined it. So now, where
is this Mycl fellow?
He's just restarting.
Why is Emagin crucial to the plot?
No.
I need to kill him off right away so that we don't have to worry about him anymore.
Now the subplot is over. We can get to the main thing.
But seriously, you go ahead. You like the video, and I want to see comments below why Johnny Depp has the pull star power that he still has. Because I don't know anyone that's like, ooh, the new Johnny Depp picture's in town. Let's go see it.
You know what he's also not very good at? It's like he's in a bunch of rock bands, and he's not good.
No, he's not. My parents saw him. My parents saw him and they said he was terrible.
Like he plays his guitar by his knees to be cool. Like it's all about the image. But if you've ever played guitar, you can't play that.
You got to play it up here.
Does it for fun? Maybe he just like, you know what?
Just in the constant middle ground. He's like, you know what, guys, let him just have fun. And you know what? That's right. He probably does have fun. But he also gets paid more than any other actor.
He probably he's being a total asshole about everything, and he's just like, fame is such a fickle fucking thing. I'm just gonna do whatever the fuck I want, and I'm gonna be famous.
Maybe, but then when you do whatever the fuck you want, you get divorced from your wife because
I don't know. The Beatles did it with Sgt. Pepper album. They're like, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want with this album.
You have to be talented first and foremost.
Whoa.
They did. They were like, you know what? Let's just do. It doesn't matter what we write. We're big enough now that we can write whatever we want.
That was like a ground shattering.
Because it was the first time they didn't care what
they were big enough. No, they were big enough to say, "All right, let Ringo write one."
I wrote a song about an octopus.
Paul and John getting together. Oh, what's your song about? Oh, mine's about love and loss and fear. What's yours? Oh, hatred and pain. How about yours?
Ringo's like,
I wrote about an octopus.
me.
Good little Ringo.
Right here on the fridge.
I wrote another one. What's it called? This boy. Oh, we'll just call it Ringo's song. Because that one's subtitled Ringo's song. Yeah, that's
my favorite line was from John Lennon. Was like, "Do you think that Ringo is the best drummer in the world?" And he goes, "Ringo's not even the best drummer in the Beatles."
Yeah, I mean, that's too funny. Well, they're all multi-talented musicians, like us with RPGs. We're multi-talented RPGists. I don't even think we're singularly talented RPGists, to be honest. I think
we got computers and cameras and microphones.
We got computers and
Some
cameras.
of us don't even have those working.
And a hell of a lot of luck. And apparently internet that doesn't work either.
Yeah.
So can you start this without Mike or no?
We could do like a one-off right now. You got a one-off ready?
Okay, if you can start it, let's start it. So you know what? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for sticking around 31 fucking minutes while we've sorted this shit out. But without further ado, Mr. Justin Thomas James for Dragon Age 2, Part 4.
Penth. You feel snow all around you. It isn't cold, though. Years of living in the Frostback Mountains has made you almost immune to the bitter cold of the climate. But still, it is quite uncomfortable to be buried in about a foot of snow. And you push yourself up and dust it off. And you find yourself back where you were in your last vision. You see snow falling heavily all around you. And very faintly, you can make out the silhouette of a tall man standing before you. And you remember that he dropped a head before you. And you looked at it, and you remember it being this head of what you thought was a great bear, a shaggy grizzly that mauled your parents. This man saved your life by killing this bear. But as you look at the skull again, the fur seems to shift and warp and change. And just for a flash, you see the coarse fur turn into smooth blue scales. Immediately, it switches back, and you're overcome with a flash of fear. Suddenly, in the blink of an eye, you're off the ground. You're standing up, still surrounded by the snow falling, but you are Penth as you are now. No longer the child that ran away from the Emir encampment with his parents when he was that young. But now you stand alone. The man who once stood before you is no longer standing. He is now on the ground. A large gash open in the back of his head, and blood begins to pool around. This is the man that saved you from the beast that killed your parents. And it's a man that you recognize. The man that you just killed.
I fall to my knees in front of him.
Is
the axe still in my hand?
Mm-hmm.
And I would look at the weapon, his own weapon that I killed him with. And I look at him.
And you look at him, and how are you feeling right now? What does Penth feel?
Numb. Not from the cold. Just from misbelief. Not knowing how to feel. I've just turned my back on all my beliefs. And more so than that, I've killed a man who, in this moment of an outpouring of emotion and anger and rage, I killed in order to save someone who's not from my clan, someone who's a threat to the very world that the Emir live in to protect. And I've killed him. I've slaughtered him from behind with no honor. Am I even in a mirror?
As this dawns on you, you have flashbacks of various encounters that you had with Nikoru in the encampment, long after you'd forgotten about your parents' death and this night in the Frostbacks. You remember Nikoru pushing you to the ground, beating you, being far more forceful than he needed to be, spitting on you, telling you you're weak, making you feel hated.
I stand up and I grab the axe and I look to the body. Am I still in the house with Emagin and Grinner?
You are not. Snow falls around you, and it is deep, burying your feet.
I grab his shoulder and I pull him over. I have the heavy, muscular body onto his back. As is meant to be, Nikoru. A man, a warrior, will be buried in the snow, taken back by the earth. I do not deserve, and I start taking off the garb. You did not deserve what happened to you, and I do not deserve to wear this. And I pull off the red sash on my arm. And I cover it around his neck where I cut to hide the wound.
Okay. And as you place the band around his neck, you notice something out of the corner of your eye. A place where the head was lying just a moment ago. As you stand over your protector, the one who saved you, you realize that the head is gone. And at that moment, you hear a piercing bellow shoot through the snow, rumbling the ground around you.
Have you come for me finally? I call out into the night.
The roaring stops.
I'm ready.
You hear a low grumble as the ground shakes with every step that this beast gets closer and closer and closer.
Feast upon this body, but leave this one alone. As I point to Nikoru, I grab the axe and I start running towards wherever it is.
Okay. We're jumping. You run into the darkness, and the snow continues to fall around you as you begin to see the silhouette of a large, hulking, four-legged beast. Grinner. You're standing in the street of a small village. And right before you is a house, a modest shack. It is nighttime. It is summer. And it feels all very familiar. And the house that stands before you has a door, as you'd expect, leading in. And then just to the right side of the door, there's a window. And you can see firelight flickering inside, and shadows moving about.
I recognize this house. This is the house. Is this the house that I dropped him off at?
You hear a crash come from inside and a whelp as a small voice cries out in the night.
And I rush through the front door.
Okay. You rush to the front door and you find it locked. And you test it a few times and you begin to hear a voice, a harsh, brusque voice that's slurring its speech slightly. And it says, "You're the reason your parents are dead. You worthless spat." And another loud crash comes from inside. "First thing tomorrow, I'm having the Templars come and take you vile thing away."
I start throwing my weight into the door, trying to open it.
Smashing into it. And again, you hear this cry of the voice getting louder and louder and more piercing. And suddenly the door opens with one push that would have broken it. It opens easily. And you step inside.
Yeah.
And it is dark. Completely dark.
I look around. Do I see anything on the floor, anything stirred, or does it look pristine?
Looking around, you find yourself actually in a completely black space. Behind you, the outside is gone. You've entered a new area. And then a shadow appears before you, levitating in the air.
Who are you?
And as light slowly begins to hit your eyes from what it is, and your eyes begin to adjust, you see your friend, Karthus, floating, lifeless in the air, gazing through you more than at you.
Karthus. And I walk up to him. Karthus, are you all right? And I go to reach for him.
And as you reach for him, he speaks, though his lips do not move. And he says, "We are the dead. We are the dead." As a bead of blood begins to stream from his eyes and nostrils.
And I turn away. God damn.
You turn away and you see a boy. The boy that you saved from earlier. From long before, many summers ago.
And I kneel down.
He has his hand up as if he is holding Karthus there. And with every turn of his hand, more blood begins to pour from Karthus's orifices.
No, stop! You're hurting him!
And then you see a man appear beside the boy. A man gets down on his knees and he whispers into the boy's ear.
What are you telling him? And do I have a sword on me or anything?
You do.
I draw my sword and I point it at the guy who's kneeling next to the boy. Stop! What are you saying to him?
Slowly, the corners of his mouth curl upwards as Malik turns towards you and smiles.
No, you're dead. No, you're dead. I killed you in the woods. You're dead. I drew your blood myself. I saw your dead body. I left you in the woods years ago.
The order cannot be vanquished so easily. Now, he says to the boy, and the boy turns his hand towards you, and instantly you feel pain rack through your body as everything goes black. Emagin. Eyes still closed, you come into consciousness on the ground. What feels to be a muddy, mossy area. You feel like yourself. You don't feel like you're possessed right now. And you can feel very faintly the warmth of a fire, contrasting the cold dampness of the ground beneath you. And you can hear the sound of marsh animals chirping and calling in the night. You feel that your wrists are bound and your ankles as well. And you're afraid to open your eyes, for you do not know where you are. Emagin, do you muster the courage to act? Emagin is quiet. He opens his eyes, though still very quiet.
Emagin is muted.
And I open my eyes and I look around and I try to see if I can get a view of my captors and see what they look like, and then see if there's a way out.
So as soon as you open your eyes,
bound as well.
Okay, you feel weak. You feel even opening your eyes takes the utmost strength. But as you do, and your eyes adjust to the outdoor firelight, you see Ashara's figure lying before you, gagged and bound as you are. She lies, her hair tousled around her, and eyes closed in the muck.
I must have been responsible for this somehow, and I don't even know how. Is there... I look around for anything that I recognize. So that I know. I look for Grinner, I look for Penth.
Okay, so you turn your body and try to shift away from Ashara, and you see a few bodies lying around you. Penth is lying down. You recognize his feet from the opposite side of the fire. But lying beside you, you see another elf. An elf that you don't recognize, that you've never seen before. He has markings. He has no markings, as the Dalish would, and he's wearing mage's robes, but it looks like he's unconscious as well.
Probably another circle pawn. It's probably why I'm like this.
But beyond that, it's hard to see anybody else. Go on.
I try to give another listen to see if I can hear any more movement.
Okay, go for it.
I
do a perception roll.
I call for... Oh, geez, so a 13.
13. Okay. So it's hard. You can hear your heartbeat thudding between your temples, and it's not very easy to hear anything other than the forest animals. But you do feel something. A shuffling beside you, behind you, where Ashara is. And turning back, you come face to face with Ashara again, her eyes wide open as she looks into yours.
Ashara, what is going on?
You try to speak, but your mouth is gagged. And your throat is so dry that you don't think that you'd even be able to make a sound. But she stares at you, and the look in her eyes seems to make you feel like she's sorry. She's so sorry. And she's confused, and she's afraid.
Where are my hands bound? In front or behind?
In front.
And I will try to motion over to her and try to get to what's ever binding her hands and start to try my best to untie them.
Okay.
It's okay, Ashara. It's
okay. So she looks down at her binds, sees what you're doing, and holds out her hands to make it easier for you. And she begins trying to take in her surroundings. And her eyes stop above you. But you're focusing so much on the binds that it takes you a moment to realize that she's looking up. And you do. And you see her eyes wide with fear as you hear a thud behind you. And a cry, a muffled cry, comes from the elf lying next to you. Do you try to look back, or do you continue cutting her binds?
I definitely look back.
Okay. So you look back, and you see blood splatter into the firelight as a man, shirtless, stands above the elf. He has a knife in his hand that is already covered in blood. And he takes it up to his bald head with blood red tattoos all over it. And he takes the knife up to his tongue and he licks the blood off of it as the man beneath him groans and mumbles. And you feel a tug on your back as Ashara gestures for you to keep going with the binds. You hear another sickening wet thud as the knife connects with the elf behind you. You hear a tearing sound as it curves through the man's body as he cries out. Ashara has begun to cry. Tears are flowing down her cheeks.
I work as quickly as I can, as deftly as I can, trying to undo her bonds.
Do a dexterity roll.
So much tension. All right, 12, 15.
15. Okay. So you managed to get through one layer of the bindings, but you see that
17.
17. Okay. So you get through most of the bindings. It looks like with not too much time, she will be able to get them undone herself. And she looks up at you, hopeful. And then you realize that the sound, the man behind you, in the time that you've been untying Ashar's binds, the sound has gone quiet. Everything has gone quiet behind you. And all you can hear is the sound of your own heartbeat, as even the animals of the marsh seem to have quieted. And Ashara looks at you, fear in her eyes. And before you can even react, something grabs Ashara by the hair and yanks her into the forest, out of sight. Her feet drag away from you. As you hear a muffled scream coming from her as she's dragged away.
I start trying to call it as best I trying to call for Faust. Faust.
You scream and you shout, and it's muffled through
Faust.
the gag. You make lots of noise and you writhe around trying to get better positioning.
And I'm crawling towards the way it went, the way she's dragged through the dirt.
Perfect. So you're crawling through the wet mud and the moss towards the forest of thick trees that you recognize. Trees that you recognize from the vision. And you continue to crawl, continue to make your way there when you feel a bare foot pushed down on your back, slowly, forcefully. And then you feel strong, wiry hands on your shoulder as you're spun over. You see the silhouette of one of these savages above you, illuminated by the fire, backlit by it. As he brings his fist back and punches you right in the head, knocking you out. Penth, you run through the snow towards this beast. What's going through your head right now?
Our thoughts are gripped by fear, but I'm not so worried about what's going to happen to me. There's no need for that anymore. My honor is gone. I run towards the beast in fear that it's going to take what little honor is left for Nikoru and destroy his body after I've killed him, a cowardly backstabber such that I am now, killed him, and now I have but one job left, and that's protect his body. And so I'm running towards the beast to distract it so I can't feed on this like a carrion, and I run at it.
Each step you take towards the beast, it becomes more and more visible through the snow. And not before long, you realize that this is a giant lizard-like creature with a long sturdy tail that whips back and forth through the snow, and a big head, bigger than any great bear, with a long snout and sharp pointed teeth and scales all over it, and spikes coming out of its head. It's a dragon.
Will not pass me. I stand my ground, and I shake in fear. You will not get past me to Nikoru. I will make my stand if it is my final one here and now, but you will not decimate that body.
It grunts, and steam shoots from its nose into the cold night. And it begins walking sideways, like a wolf prowling its prey.
And with every step, I match its step to stay within my center line to his. Not let him get around me, not let him get advantage.
And he sees that you're doing this, and he turns and begins walking the other way.
And I follow him the other way, with the breath fogging out of my nostrils as I look at him, and I wheeze as the pain in my body and my blood that aches.
It paces back and forth for a little longer, eyeing you, measuring you up. And then, suddenly, its tail lashes out from the snow, swinging at your head. And I'm going to make you roll dexterity. I think that's more interesting than me rolling against it.
That's a good roll.
That is a very good roll.
20.
20. And for this, I'm going to let you do an attack. You got a 6 on the dragon die. You can use it as your attack.
As the tail whips around towards me, I feel the looseness of the snow beneath me. It allows for me to act more dexterously. I slide underneath the tail. And as it comes around me, I grab my axe to hook onto it, to be pulled by its momentum up into the air and towards him. But as I do hook my axe into him to try to make some damage.
Okay. So go ahead and roll.
Now, I have a great axe. I imagine I use my strength.
That's right.
My heavy blades as an advantage to that.
Yep, and a great axe is 2d6 plus 3, I believe.
Is that for damage, you mean?
Or 2d6 plus 2 damage, naturally, and then add whatever.
I got a 13.
13. Okay, and are you adding anything for the 6 of the dragon die?
What's 6 to the dragon die?
The dragon die you rolled last time was a 6.
I can use that.
You can use that. I'll say that 3 of it will be used for the...
Oh, I'm sorry. I was rolling...
action.
I see what you're saying. So I'm just rolling for damage.
Yes.
What was the damage again? Say that one more time.
For great axe, I believe it is 2d6 plus your strength.
Okay, so then I actually only got 6 plus my strength, which gives me 9 plus my heavy blades, which gives me 11. And then for my 6, I will do a lethal blow and add an extra 2d6.
Okay, so get that ready.
So 19. Now, its scales, I must imagine, are dense. But I'm going to stay aware as I go up into the air, and I'm ready for my next strike.
Add 1 more d6 because it's 3d6.
So what I say, 20 damage.
20 damage. Okay. So just describe that again. Do a quick recap.
So I see him, and I'm making eye contact with him, and I can see the intent in this creature that thinks it's just this little Penth. He's going to knock me out of the way, as I've been knocked around so many times by Nikoru. But I slide under his tail as it whips around, dipping into the snow as I feel the snow on my chest. And I rise up underneath, grab the battle axe, and hook it onto the back of his tail, digging into its flesh. And it pulls me into the air, and now I'm in the air, ready for the next attack.
It lets out a shattering roar that hurts your ears as the wind whips past you and the snow smashes against your skin.
Blood dripping from my flesh as I've just come from a battle.
Mm-hmm. Well, actually, your wounds seem to have healed. Wherever you are is not the realm that you came from, where the body of Penth is damaged. So, next is... next is it. So it begins to turn around and jump up in the air to meet you. And I'm going to say that it swings at you as you're falling from the air. But go ahead and do another roll to see whether or not it hits you.
I think it does. 6 points. 6 plus my defense, or I don't know how that works. 6 plus my dexterity. So a 10.
10. Okay. So as you fall back down, axe ready. Are you crying out?
Yeah.
Fighting quietly.
No, absolutely. I'm screaming with everything I have as I come down, ready to try to just strike with everything I have down its front.
A massive claw seems to appear out of nowhere and smashes you out of the air, sending you flying. And I'm going to give you an extra 1d6 point of damage
For the height.
As you're falling.
As I land in the snow, my body slides, and I can feel my body break, my bones and my flesh.
All right, so you take 13 points of damage. So Penth slides on the ground through the snow, tossing and tumbling.
Does my armor help?
I don't think you're wearing armor, are you?
No, but I have an armor class of 3 from just my garb.
Ah, right. Yep, that helps.
Okay.
So you slide on the ground, and you hear the wind strongly around you, and you turn and you realize that you've almost been swatted off the edge of a cliff.
I looked from where I slid, and I see the blood trail in the snow and the ice that has just ripped at my flesh, and I look over the precipice that is now before me. I go to push myself up to get between him and the body again.
Okay. And you push yourself up. And we're going to jump to Grinner in a little bit, but as you push yourself up, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking that this is where I'm going to die. And rightly so. The mother that I knew from the clan has sent someone to kill me. And I have done the despicable act of murdering him with his own blade from behind as he was unarmed. I did it for maybe the right reasons, maybe to protect Emagin. But she wanted me dead. I'm no longer in a mirror, so I will make my stand here to protect a warrior's body.
And so you grit your teeth. And
I push up out of the snow, my body aching, arm shaking, and I push up and I walk towards where the axe fell out of my hand. I reach down and I pick it up and I look at the beast again. You can have this body, but you will not have Nikoros.
It lets out a blood-curdling roar and begins to charge towards you through the snow.
And I run at it.
Grinner. Everything is black. And you hear something in the darkness, something glass, sounds like glass bouncing.
I pull out a torch.
On a surface. You pull out a torch and look around and see, and you hear this, whatever it is, roll towards you. It rolls towards you and stops at your feet, this small sphere.
And I look down at the sphere. And I bend down towards it.
You bend down, and as you get closer, you see that there are some markings on it.
And I take a look at the markings.
You see 3 crosses upside down. And words, faint and foggy in your mind, come to you. The order cannot be killed so easily. You're jostled, and you're snapped out of this dark area, and a bit of light appears as your eyes begin to flicker open. You're being carried over someone's shoulder, very strong. Your wrists are bound, your ankles are tied, and your mouth is gagged as this massive man walks with you slung over his shoulder.
And I try to loosen my wrists.
Okay. So you find that they're tied very sharply, and you still are in great pain from the battle that happened not too long ago, that your brain is very fuzzy. Every time you try to move your hands to get the bindings off, your wrists are shot with pain from the sharp twine that digs into it.
I'm going to try to wiggle free, like jump off his shoulder, sort of. And because I'm assuming I'm slunked over, sort of like over my stomach on his shoulder, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I can stand up from prone for free. So I'm assuming I'm very good at sort of getting up from a situation. So I'm going to try to stand back really, really quick. And I'm going to try to jump on my feet if I can from his shoulder. So try to sort of a dexterity-based acrobatics move.
Okay, I'm going to make it a little tougher. I'm going to give you a +2 to the difficulty.
Sure.
But go ahead, try to beat a 16.
Okay. For dexterity, right?
For dexterity, yeah.
Ooh, nope. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, so plus 2. Yeah, 13.
What is it that you were trying to do exactly?
Jump off his shoulder.
Jump off his shoulder and just fall to the ground, or like?
Well, at this point, I can't get my arms free. Can I reach my eyes at least?
No. The way
I can't see anything, right?
Your arms are bound behind you. Actually.
I see. Okay, yeah.
So he actually, you jostle and you try to move off, but his arm is around you, and he stops to one side, and he grunts, and he straps you on his shoulder more, and the wind is knocked out of you as his arm is digging into your stomach, and he says, "I think we've got a live one." His voice is gruff, and it sounds like he's got a big beard. He just like sounds like one of those people that have a big beard.
Okay. And obviously, I have no weapons on me.
No, you don't. And you notice that there are 2 other men around you. One walking in front and one behind.
I can just hear them, basically.
And the one in front stops as the man carrying you stops. And you feel a sharp pain on the back of your head as he hits you with what feels like the butt of the hilt of his sword.
Does it knock me out?
No.
Then I'm going to pretend to be knocked out, though.
Okay. And he says, "This should be the last of them. I don't know how he woke up. All the rest of them were out cold."
And I'm just fake it.
Well, let's hope that they never come back to our town again. If what I think is going to happen happens, then they won't be waking up at all. And maybe this will keep the savages from bothering our town for a while. So they carry you, continue in silence, through the marsh. And you can hear the sounds of crickets and marsh animals. And these people seem to be pretty quiet as they carry you, their boots squishing with each step.
We continue playing dead while I think of the dream that I just had, and I'm racked with guilt of how I failed the boy and how I failed Emagin.
Okay. So that's what's going through your mind right now?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, the boy that I saved from the farm, Mycl, the boy that I dropped off at his uncle's house, because I felt that it was the right thing to do, even though I knew his uncle was a drunkard and would probably treat him terribly. I was convinced that being with family was the best thing for him. Part of the reason I think I always honored or respected Penth's loyalty to his family. But as I walked away and heard the boy being beaten by his uncle, I knew it was the wrong thing, and I never went back. And I failed Emagin just like I failed that boy.
So this is what's going through your head as you hear the man saying, one of the men up front say, "That's just up front. I can see the fire." And they continue walking with you.
There's still 3 of them in here?
There's still 3 of them. Now,
I
is
have
there
no
anything
weapons?
you wanted to do?
There's nothing I can think of doing. I mean, if there's 3 of them and I have no weapons, can I not? And my hands are behind my back, so I can't reach their sword. I can't get off.
Mm-hmm.
Can I roll for an idea?
Sure, yeah.
Let me do that.
You're welcome to.
Okay, idea roll 11
Okay.
plus intelligence, cunning. So plus 3, so 14.
A memory comes back to you. A memory that's been kind of haunting you a little bit ever since it happened. You remember calling for Alzombra.
Oh, right. That fucking guy. I deleted him from my memory when he fucked me over last time. So that's what I say. Alzombra.
And your mouth is gagged.
Oh, right.
And the man stops. He stops. He says, "You didn't hit him hard enough." And he takes off his arm.
I want to do a persuasion mumble.
Okay.
Something that makes it sound like I have something important to say. Oh my god, I'm rolling terribly today. So 4, 5, 6 plus 6, so 12. Actually,
12. That's not bad. So the guy in front says, he's trying to say something. Put him down. So the big guy puts him down and holds his axe. Holds his axe under your throat. And the guy up front says, Well, what? Take the gag out of his mouth if you want to understand him, idiot." So he reaches up and he wrestles the rag off of you roughly and says, "What is it?"
Alzombra.
You hear a whistle as something flies through the air and a soft thud. It's the man in front of you. And the man reaches up. The big man reaches up. And he pulls out what looks to be a dart. And he says, "What the?"
Yeah, good night, big guy.
And he collapses to the ground. The other man who's behind him, who's slightly smaller, but not much, pulls out a two-handed sword and looks into the darkness as the other man shouts out and says, "Who's there?"
And I'm going to scurry a few feet up, sort of on my stomach as I'm trying to get out of the way of the contact.
Okay. So they both go ahead and do a stealth roll. It's not going to be too hard because they are pretty distracted.
Ooh.
Okay.
Anyway.
So no problem. You managed actually to scuffle very far.
Well, I was thinking actually maybe rather than going too far, maybe I'd scuffle behind them and get into a position where I could trip them or something. I don't know.
Perfect. Yeah, sounds good. So you get into a position. You see the man ahead is holding up his sword, looking into the darkness and not seeing anything, while the man behind holds out his sword again, doing the same.
And I get behind whichever one is bigger.
That's the one with the double-handed sword.
And I say, "Lie down, you motherfucker." And I get right behind him.
Okay. And
just waiting for Alzombra to do something cool and use me.
Okay. So you feel you feel something move past you, and the man in front of you cries out as a shadow sticks a dagger into his back, and he holds the man as he brings him down to the ground, whispering something in a language you don't understand. And immediately the man at front, the leader, turns and says, "You're dead!" and begins running towards Alzombra. Alzombra quickly takes his dagger and slashes both of your binds, and then falls back into the shadows before the man can get to him. Your hands are free. What do you do?
Do any of them have a bow?
No. Oh, actually, the one in the front does have a bow. The leader.
Perfect. I'm going to run and roll and grab the bow. And again, because I can stand up for a free action, and because I can aim for a free action, or because I can ready myself and go prone or stand up as a free action. I'm going to grab the bow, stand up, and ready it. So readying and stand up will be free, so it'll just be the move action to do that.
Okay. Yeah.
So in one move, my hands are freed. I'm going to roll forward as my move, grab the bow, stand up, arm an arrow, and fire it directly at the guy's head.
So your hand falls on the man who first died, the one who died from poison.
Yeah.
Your hand falls on the bow that he was carrying that you hadn't noticed, and your fingers rest comfortably in the grip of your bow that you had before.
I smile as I stand up and let the arrow cast through the night air with an 12 plus 6, so with a 18.
All right. Your arrow shoots through the darkness towards the leader that is running towards you. He's spotted you. He sees what you're doing. How much damage do you do?
So 1d6 plus 6 plus 1. So, ooh, nice.
Ooh.
So 12 plus 1.
That is enough to kill
13.
him. So describe what happens.
So again, my Azombra cuts my binds as my hands are free. I roll forward with my hand touching the bow that I've become so accustomed to. I stand up, silent in the night, and arm an arrow as I smile, letting the arrow sing true as it clears through his eye socket and out the back of his head silently as he crumbles to a fall, completely dead. And I put the bow on my back. Really earning that money, Alzambra.
A viper always waits for the perfect moment to strike, he says as he steps out of the shadows.
I can't blame you.
It couldn't have worked out any better. You got your bow back, and these men are dead.
Okay. And I crouch down and I look forward at the fire in the distance. And I turn back to him and say, thank you, but we still need to rescue them. And I look forward. Can I see who's by the fire?
It's too hard to see right now.
Okay.
It's just a little too far away.
So we'll creep up silently through the woods.
He stops you, and he says, before we get too close, I do not know what happened. There was an explosion. I heard that. But the people that I've been watching, I could not watch them because I saw that you were taken. They're out there somewhere, and I do not think that they are good people.
Well, let's deal with these non-good people first, and then we'll watch our backs about them.
So he follows you through the darkness towards the glow of the campfire. Emagin. Everything is calm around you. You open your eyes, standing, and you find yourself in the middle of the woods. A pale blue glow of the moonlight shooting through the canopy illuminates the area. You find yourself in the place where you've often been in your visions lately, in a place that you've come to recognize as the Tirashan. Limber oaks are jutting into the sky and covering the moonlight with their leaves. You stand there alone, but with this strange sense of calm about you.
And I wonder, I don't even understand how I got here. The last few days have been a blur, let alone how I ended up all tied up. I remember in and out, foggy visions. I remember there was a little boy rocking and chanting something about Grindelwald. I remember being asked to leave a house and then entering the house, and I remember...
As these memories flood back to you, you have another memory. Something that fits but doesn't fit. A memory of a vast desert landscape that you've never been in yourself. Running through this desert. And you come to as you realize you're not alone anymore. The wisp that you've seen before a few times in your visions hovers before you. And there's that same sense of familiarity that you felt with it before. Like family, but even somehow closer. But it hovers before you. And though it does not speak, it seems to beckon for you to follow.
Lead. Show me. What do
So
you have for me to know?
With an almost musical jingle, it rises and bobs and begins to lead you back away from it. And you follow. Walk over the gnarled roots of the limber oaks, through the Tirashan forest, following this wisp. And it's moving slowly, not as quickly as it was before. No sense of real urgency.
And I'm trying to remember, like, where is Ashara? Yeah, I'm not concerned. I'm more puzzled. And Penth and Grinner.
You feel that
like everything should be okay somehow. I don't know. But there's a comfort in the light of the wisp. And so I follow.
There's a comfort in the sense that you feel understood by this wisp in a way that you've never felt understood before. More understood than Ashara or Grinner or Penth or any of the people that you've come to love and care about. This spirit knows you.
This is the closest I felt to home that I can ever remember feeling. I mean, I've got memories of my father and my mother and being free to run in the forest, but they felt so long ago, like someone else. Like they always felt like someone else's memories more than my own. And now this feels like this is where I need to be. It's where I've always meant to be.
So after walking for a bit, the wisp stops, and its pale bluish purple light illuminates a small clearing, still covered by the canopy of the trees, but the roots aren't as intense. And two things stand out to you. The first most noticeable thing behind the wisp is a font, a small, almost bird bath that looks to be filled with water. But before that, in between you and the font, is a skeleton that looks to be resting peacefully on the ground.
And I approach it.
So you approach it, and
Curious,
you see...
more than nervous.
It's the body of a man. What looked to be a big man of sorts. And the main thing that strikes you about this body is that right above the elbow, where there should be arms on both sides, the bone stops short. And there are no arms.
Trying to remember if I have any reason to know this.
You feel an urge to touch it.
Don't. And absolutely, again, looking it over for any other signs of stress, any chips or chunks it may have caused by a death in battle, or whether or not it died here peacefully, as it feels like that very well could be the case.
So where do you touch it?
Well, I'm just kind of not touching it yet, just kind of running my hands like
Over it. Okay.
a little bit above it.
Okay. So as you bring your hands close to it, you feel an energy. A surge of this familiarity shoots through you again. And you get closer and closer to it, feeling that you should touch it, that you should know.
And so I do. And in fact, I will put my hand on its forehead, almost as if feeling for a fever or...
Okay. So you put your hand on his forehead, and all of a sudden you're overcome with fear and pain as you're taken into a memory of a strange world where there are people all around you. And you look around, you're trying to stop them, but you can't. You can't stop them. There's too many of them, and they're all afraid. You try to protect them, and you're trying to help them, but they don't know, they don't care. And they grab your limbs, and they begin to pull you limb from limb, tearing you apart. And you recoil back from the skeleton. And the wisp still hovers before you, now a deeper shade of purple. As now you have some understanding of what happened to this spirit. And you catch your breath, and you feel the wisp move over to something, and it moves over to you. And as you're recoiling and still catching your breath, and it's more that you see the words rather than hear them, but also the text is a jagged, unformed, raw sort of text. And it says, "I am more than a brother and more than a friend. You are as I was before my own end. I will help you as I would help myself." And you see the spirit move over to a point in the dirt and duck down into the dirt. And you notice something jutting out of the ground where it disappeared.
And I run over to it.
You run over to it, and you look, and it looks like a piece of fabric sticking up out of the ground. Dirty, grimy, covered in this griminess.
And I will take it and get a better look at it and see if I can pull it out and...
Mm-hmm. So you pull it out of the ground.
Even just feel what the fabric is made out of.
Feels like some sort of felt. And as you pull it out, you have to be careful because it's almost going to disintegrate. But
so
in the pale...
around it as well.
Yeah, and as you do, you realize that this is a hat. In the pale blue moonlight, you can see this is a green hat with the semblance of a feather sticking out of it. The feather is, of course, grimy and covered in dirt and mud, but it's a hat with a feather in it.
And I feel somehow like this once belonged to whoever that skeleton was. And I take a look over to see if I can see where the wisp went, or if it looks like the wisp went into where this hat was. Is that what happened? Or the wisp went
sure.
Further? Okay.
But while you feel like it belonged to someone else, you also feel like it belongs to you.
It's so delicate, though. I will try it on.
Okay.
If I can, without ever so gingerly.
So you place it on your head, and you feel a surge of almost like breath, as if something is inhaling within you. And you feel invigorated, inspired. And as you wear this cap, you notice the font is turned a bright, colorful shade of purple. And you have the urge to drink from it.
And again, more curious than afraid, and again, feeling so much comfort in everything that's around here. I do, without question.
Okay.
And so I drink.
You drink. So you
Scooping
pull
my
up
hands in.
the glowing purple water, and you take a drink. As you feel the liquid pour down your body and fill your veins with power and energy, and you're invigorated with almost the power of another being, and it surges through you, and you open your eyes, and you feel invigorated as you're being hauled through the forest by a savage, being pulled over roots. You're still bound, but you are completely aware and completely ready to act. And we are going to go to the mid-game poll.
Hey, just out of curiosity, can you hear me applause when I'm muted?
No.
Ah, okay. So no, we know. Hello, all, and welcome to the mid-game post. That's right. This is the point of the show where we stop the fantastic action and we turn to you guys to give us a little bit of a contest. Not to give us a contest, to
Participate.
I was going to say perform in a contest, but participate is the correct terminology. To participate in the contest. That's right. I'm posting the mid-game post right now. The word of the mid-game post is, let's get it from Mike this time. Okay, let's get it from Chris this time.
Let's go with did we do Nikuru last time?
No, but do you know how to spell that?
No. Does anyone really?
That's true. Well,
let's go with Esteban. Another good one that's really easy to spell.
Savages.
Savages!
Savages, a great movie. All right, the word is savages and posted.
Are we going to talk about how that's going to change too in the new year?
Yes, actually, good point to talk about it. Thanks, Chris. We are going to be changing the mid-game post as well. I mentioned it last time, but the mid-game post from here on out is not going to have a first, second, third, and 20th winner. It is only going to have one winner. And the mid-game post is going to be more of a skill testing question, not math or something lame or boring like that, but it's going to be something about the game currently. So again, for example, if someone asked what was the color of the hat that Emagin found in his experience, or maybe what was sticking out of the hat, or whatever, something like that. And that's also a little clue for you guys maybe to think more on that. Then the first person to answer that correctly would get the XP point and win mid-game post. So just so you know, that's what's going to be changing in the new year. Hope you guys are all enjoying the game. All right, we have what looks like... I really am. Good for you, Emagin. I mean, Michael. I think we have our winners so far. So we have our first, second, and third place winners. We have Mr. Jake Ortega, Laureen Rin Regan, and Mike Fazio. Well done, guys. You each won part of the mid-game post. And now to count the 20th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sausages. No, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mark Lane. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Mr. Mark Lane! That makes the winners Mark, Jake, Lorene, and Mike. Well done, guys. You each get XP. And remember, this is game 8. So we have 9 and 10 next week and the following week after. And then after that, we have one last game before the year is over. And we start a brand new season of the Invictus stream. That last game is going to be an all-out, balls-to-the-wall XP extravaganza. So your XP are going to be updated right before that game. We're also going to be throwing out a little bit of bonus XP during that week for people who might want to check back at the stream.
I feel like it's like a sale. Like we need like one of those big crazy arm waving guys.
XP extravaganza!
Spend your XP! Everything must go! Everything!
Oh, Justin just put his hand. I'm sorry, buddy. But yeah, it is going to be an XP extravaganza. It's going to be very interesting. We haven't nailed down the basis yet, but I think one of the key features that the last stream is going to have is that we're going to pass off the GM role during the game. So all 4 of us in a capacity will be GMing the last game.
Is it going to be like a drinking game as well, like last Christmas? Because I want to GM first if that's the case.
I think we should definitely be drinking. Oh yeah, it's the year-end game. It's the 28th.
Did I choose to GM first in order to?
I think we should GM
first or second
or last. So anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun stuff. It's going to be a wacky, crazy game. There are going to be a lot of tangents, so prepare for that and drink along. It'll make it a lot easier. So there we go. There are the winners of the mid-game post. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying it. Yeah, let's enjoy it. I keep going into. I was going to mention something about the chat. Yeah, I'm going to mention the chat. Let's chill in the chat. There's no need. It's getting weirdly sexy.
That takes a lot for Harlan to say too.
Well, no, hey, at the end of the day, I don't care. But like, yeah, you can PM each other. I like if it was just me in the room, I wouldn't feel uncomfortable. But I can't speak for everyone else in the world. So be cool. And I'm not chastising. So everyone just be cool. Just be cool about it. And we'll drop the subject altogether and we can all be friendly and funny. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's go back to the game. Justin's doing a fantastic job at GMing. Hope you guys are all enjoying it.
Penth, you run towards this dragon. It bears down on you. Its giant snout open, snarling at you. And you come into contact with it. Go ahead and roll. Let's do an opposed challenge. I want to see how that works. I'm just kind of making this up as I go. Ooh.
How close was I to the edge? So, 7 plus whatever I'm rolling. Strength? Will? Let's just do willpower. I'm going to will myself not to die.
I like that, but I won't allow it.
All right.
Regular strength?
Okay. Yep. So
Plus
11 or 12.
12 points of damage.
Okay. No, I want to. Can I use might to help?
Not sure,
really.
But
it's an attack.
Drop your axe if you do.
Then yeah, so be it. So
okay.
14.
14. All right.
Punch the dragon to death.
With your might, you are able to. You see its mouth open as it tries to snap at you with its jaws, and
but I drop my axe to grab the teeth.
Yeah, there you go.
As it's pushing me closer to the edge, and I fight it.
And it was a close. It was a tie. So you are in a stalemate right now, trying to keep these jaws open. And I need you to do another strength check or a dexterity roll to try to jump out of the way.
I will do a dexterity check to see if I can jump out of the way.
Okay.
So I want to, as it's going, I want to use its momentum to jump and see if I can get it to stumble.
Okay.
17, including my acrobatics.
Okay, that's going to be
or brawling.
17 versus his constitution, which is looking like it's going to work. Okay, so you do manage to get it to stumble forward.
I want to slide, like fake slide towards the edge and see if I can get it to stumble off.
Okay, well, it stumbles forward, and it's getting closer. I'm just going to treat it like a skirmish.
Okay.
So with 2 more skirmishes, you'd be able to get it off the edge.
All right.
Okay.
Yep.
But it spins around, and it pulls its head back, and you're feeling pretty confident right now, I imagine.
As much as you can be fighting a dragon.
Well, it rears its head back, and you see steam and fog start to billow from its mouth as it turns its mouth back to you and shoots flames from its mouth towards you. So go ahead and do a dodge roll for that.
16 plus my dexterity, 20.
Okay, so I'll let you include that in the attack.
So we break contact. As he rears his hand up to blow fire at me, I see the fire building up inside me as his lungs, as his neck glows, and I know it's coming. So my eyes widen, and in the last second, I feel the heat as I dodge into the snow out of the way, sliding underneath the flame again. But I also notice that the heat from the flame is actually starting to melt the facade. What I thought was a stone cliff was actually just a glacier that's melted away, and it started to melt the glacier underneath.
Okay. And you feel the ground start to shift beneath you.
And I slide towards where my axe was left.
Okay. You begin to slide towards it, and you have to run. You start to run because the entire side of the cliff is starting to shift. And you hear a roar as this dragon tries to pull itself up the cliff as well. And you're both gonna do rolls. You're trying to beat a 16 dexterity.
Okay.
Oh, not him.
I'm successful.
All right. How successful?
So 10, 13, 17, and I don't know what it is, but if it was acrobatics. It would be 19.
All right. So describe it. This glacier is beginning to collapse, and this dragon is trying to pull itself back up, clawing at you.
And my feet stay sure, at least as long as they can, as the side of the mountain starts to crumble away. And I'm running towards the axe. And as I'm slipping, I grab the axe and I dig its blade into the snow, and I start sliding as I'm going down with it. But the blade finally catches, and I'm hanging there from my blade, looking as the dragon slowly starts falling behind me. Does it have wings?
It doesn't have wings. No.
That's good.
That would
and I look to it as I'm hanging on from the cliff onto the axe of the man I murdered, Nikoro.
Perfect. I believe there are more of them, Grinner. I do not think they are all alone. You see 3 savages standing around the corpse of the elven mage that came to help you, or came to fight you in the abandoned house last night. They're all standing above him, and you see them pulling entrails, sticking them in their mouths, and chewing on them.
Jesus Christ. All right.
The savages are elves, and they have tattoos.
No, I'm just kidding. Little elves, who cares? Go make me some fucking toys and Santa's workshop.
I wanted to be a dentist.
Now I am. All right, so it's just Esteban and I, and you said they're standing around, or there are 3 savages, or they're standing around 3 people?
There are 3 savages, and actually they are standing around 3 people. There is, you see the body of Penth, first of all, who is lying next to the mage. And then you also see in Mycl the body of Aldo Lancaster, the man who also came to fight you.
Okay. No Emagin.
No Emagin, no Ashara.
Interesting. Okay. I turn to Esteban. I don't think we can take all 3 of them. They seem pretty well equipped. But I think if we can separate them, we could take them on individually. If you lurk in the shadows on the far side, and I draw 2 of them away. They won't leave all 3 of them by the fire alone. I think I should be able to... Actually, let's switch that. Esteban, if you make a noise and draw 2 of them away, they'll at least leave 1, and I can take 1-on-1 with my bow. Then circle back around, and we can ambush the other 2 as they return to the fire.
All right. Will you give me the signal, or when will you be in position?
You watch me. I'll go to the other side, and I'll be in position and call them and lead them on a bit of a wild goose chase. Enough time for me to finish this one. Then lead them back, and the 2 of us will do the old 1-2.
The old 1-2. This is a saying that I do like very much.
I read in a book one time.
Well, you'll have to tell me about it when we drink about this. Good luck.
And I stop him as he goes away, and I say, good luck. I've already lost enough friends tonight. Because at this point, I think that Emagin is probably dead, which is why part of the reason, again, I still feel so guilty, but that's sort of my assumption.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah.
May the shadows be with you.
And with you. And I hang back a bit, and I ready my bow in a stealth position. And what I'm going to want to do is, once he leads, whether 1 follow him or 2 follow him or all 3 follow him, I'm going to be firing. Well, all 3 I'll just move in, but whoever's left, I'll be firing at.
Okay. So you wait, still and ready with your bow, listening to the sounds of the marsh as you wait for Esteban to get into position. And after a few moments, you hear from a place that you don't expect a loud whistle. And 2 of all 3 savages bring their heads up, and they look around wildly, trying to locate the source of the sound. And then the 2 stand up, and they speak in a language that you don't understand. It's liquid and snake-like the way they talk. Hey, Asandala, Askalari. As they look around. And then the one who stays with the corpse nods. And 2 of them, as Grinner predicted, run into the night toward the sound of the whistle.
So, sorry. Did you have something to add?
No, that's the last one stays there above the body.
Perfect.
And after a moment, looking around, goes back to consuming the flesh of the
I'm
other
assuming
elf.
there's no higher ground I can find around here.
No, it's a marsh. It's all flat. Maybe
Then what I'm going to do,
but not really.
From my position, is I'm just going to stand up silently. I'm going to take aim, and I'm going to send an arrow soaring towards his head.
Okay, go ahead, do the roll.
Oh, so that's 14 plus 6. Oh, sorry. Oh, yeah, 6.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
so 20.
that has no problem hitting. And what points are you going to do?
I'm going to stun all over this guy's face. 5. I could just do an extra 2d6 damage. And did he look like he was wearing armor?
He is not. He's completely shirtless.
Then you know what? I'm just going to do that. Extra 2d6 damage. That gives me a total of 3d6 plus 7.
Wow.
Let's hope I roll as well for that. Oh, nice.
That's pretty awesome.
So 3d6 plus 7. So that's
21.
6, 11. What? This
Sorry, I know. You'll never learn if I do that.
No, 21. No, it was just fun. I like counting up. It makes each increment feel that much more powerful.
All right.
Anyway, so 21. And
21.
21.
It ends him. Describe it.
So, again, watching Esteban whistle the 2 away, I stand up silently in the marsh, the crickets chirping around me. I take aim and let an arrow fly true. Silently, again, it strikes the back of his head just below the crest of his skull and cracks as it leaves the spot between his eyes and continues on into the night sky as he stands for a moment and falls flat on the dead corpse he was eating from. And what I'm going to do very quickly, because I killed him so quickly, I am going to, and because I killed him over an already bleeding dead body, I'm going to run up and I'm going to drag his corpse off into a dark area of the marsh so that when the 2 come back, they're not like, what?
Okay.
Hide the body. Classic maneuver.
So, you hide the body. No problem. It's pretty light, actually, but you get up close, and the smell is putrid. Already flies are starting to swarm the ripped open body of the elf. And as you drag this one away, even though the smell of the marsh and the smell of the dead corpse is powerful, the smell coming from this guy's mouth is even worse. Putrid. Well, yeah.
It's like eating your own poop.
Well,
Poop eater.
Poop eater.
This corpse, the putrid corpse, is not big enough, just like curiosity, for me to hide it, is it? It's not a giant elf.
No. The corpse isn't putrid, really. Like, the corpse is just like, it's just been freshly opened.
What's the putrid smell coming from?
His breath.
Oh, it's just his breath. Oh, okay.
His breath.
What do you eat? Shit sandwiches?
Is that what you say to him?
Dead. No, I'm saying.
Oh, okay. So you drag
Maybe,
him
yeah. As I'm like, wow, what do you eat? Shit sandwiches? As I grab his feet and drag him off.
Okay. So you pull him into the marsh, and you dispose of him and make your way back up to the encampment.
No, I'm gonna stay in the distance. I'm staying hidden. I
Okay.
wanted to remove the body so they came back.
Right. So you stay hidden. You've still got your eyes on the encampment?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So as you're in there, you notice that Penth and Aldo were both bound. And
Oh yeah, that's a good call.
as you stand there, Aldo, you hear him begin to
So I'll run back in quickly. I'll put my hand over his mouth and I'll say, "Be quiet. You're being captured. I will split your wrists. Not split your wrists. I will cut your binds free. But pretend you are hidden until the two men return." And as I'm saying it, I cut his binds.
Okay.
I do the same to Penth, but is he in it? Is he out of it?
Is Penth out of it? Penth is still unconscious.
Okay, I'll still cut his binds anyway. And then
And as you're cutting his binds, you notice his eyes flickering back and forth underneath his eyelids, and his muscles are tense, and then they relax, and then they tense again, and then they relax.
So I look into the night and I listen for anyone approaching. 7, 8 plus perception. Should be 3, so 9, 10, 11.
The fire crackles behind you. The sound of the chirping and the calling in the night from the marsh animals.
Okay.
Also,
I still feel like
nothing else.
I heard them. You said they were slunky and slushy, and they were big savages, right? I can't imagine they're going to be like.
No.
Oh.
The elf that you just shot was different from the ones that had you. The people that were with you were trappers from the town.
Oh, that's right. These were the people. So the things that are eating are the things from the night that the townspeople were trying to satisfy. I gotcha. The picture's painted. My apologies. Okay, so these are much more clever beings.
Yes.
Then I'm going to leave Penth for now. My instinct was to slap him, and if that didn't happen, to drag him onto the fire so he woke up, like. But I also think that maybe
it's not working.
That would be funny, but maybe not. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna. I want to use the advantage. So when I do that speech to Aldo, though, I do want to do a persuasion to see if it sinks in. So 4, 5, 6, 7 plus 8. That's 13.
7 plus 8.
Sorry.
What's your perception?
Did I say 8? I meant 6.
6. Oh, okay.
6, 7. 7 plus 6. Well, that's 13. 7 plus 6.
So he nods. I
don't know why I said the numbers wrong, but I added the numbers right.
He looks like he's in pain, but you do see the semblance of a nod, and his mouth is still gagged. Or did you take that out?
I'm gonna keep him gagged. I just want his arms to be free.
Yeah. So he slowly shifts. And do you stay in the encampment, or do you go back out?
As he shifts, I put my hand back on and I say, "Do not move. Stay perfectly still." And then I run back out to the swamp.
Okay.
My vantage point.
You leave the encampment behind you. And Emagin, you're being dragged through the Tirashan forest, between the trees. Every now and then you hit a field of long grass and you feel yourself pulled through it. And that's where you are right now, in this field of long grass. And you hear the people that are with you, they're speaking. They're speaking in a language that sounds very familiar to you. And if you do a cunning roll, you might be able to understand it.
And as I'm being dragged, I'm also looking and seeing if I can just, like, as I'm being dragged along the ground and rolling, I'm seeing if I can grab like a sharp rock or something. Even though I'm feeling almost like I could pull and rip apart the bonds at this point. 13 on the cunning.
Okay. So you can understand it. And they don't speak much. They more growl and snarl more than speak. But you hear them say something that kind of catches your ear and that you do understand. And it says, the master will want to see this one. This is the one that he was talking about. We don't need the others, just this one.
And how many are there? How many did I see?
You look around and you can hear more in front, but that are around you right now, there are 4. 1 dragging you and 2 taking up the rear, and it sounds like 1 in front of the one dragging you.
And I am at this point just going to try to rip and break apart the bonds as I'm feeling infused with this other entity. And I'm feeling a lot stronger and a lot more dexterous than I ever was before.
You do feel these things. So go ahead and roll strength.
So I get a 13.
13. So while you do still feel strong, and while you do feel invigorated, it doesn't feel like it's actually made your muscles stronger. But you do feel completely healthy, as if you hadn't been hurt at all, ever. Or you feel energized, as if you can cast to your heart's content. And you said that you were looking around for something sharp.
Yes. As I was being dragged, I was looking on the ground to see if I could grab a sharp rock and almost squeeze it between my knees as I'm being dragged.
Okay. So go ahead, roll perception for that. Perception seeing.
Well, actually, could I do it as a... Probably not. I was going to say natural lore. But we'll do perception, because that's what you asked for. 14.
14. Okay. So looking around, you see some rocks, and you try to grab for them, but you're being dragged too quickly, and you don't want to give yourself away too quickly. But after a few moments of looking around, you notice something. More a sound, actually. It sounds like glass rolling on the stone and on the roots. And it bobs here and there. It sounds like it bounces every now and then. It's rolling through the grass. And eventually you see it. A small sphere of glass is rolling towards you by its own free will. It's at your feet, and it begins to roll up between your legs as you're being dragged along. And you pick it up, and you recognize it. In your hands, it lets off a faint green glow. And then it begins to shift and morph. And you're now holding a dagger in your hands.
And I will try to use I guess it would be a cunning to try to cut without being noticed.
That'd be a stealth. Or a legerdemain, which is dexterity.
Dexterity, right. Oh, and that's lovely. Ooh, I wish you could see this. It's 12, 17, 21.
21. Okay. So, no problem. The binds come loose. And you're holding the dagger. Now your hand's free.
And very quickly, again, cut my feet free as well.
Okay. And you managed to do that as well with the same roll.
Now, I do have to take a moment to pause because I know that, although I'm still feeling somewhat comfortable in these surroundings, even though I'm a prisoner, and I hate that more than anything else, I know that I can't cast anything violent.
Mm.
And that is where I am a little at a loss right now. And so I will actually just stand up and make a run for it.
Okay. So, you are being dragged by your, by the scruff of your neck.
So, okay. So in that case, I will again work towards what's called picking flower. So
Okay.
grabbing his hand on mine, kind of sandwich his hands and wrist lock him so that he breaks free, and then use my elbow to press down on his and bring him down into the ground.
Okay. Go ahead and do an unarmed skill check.
Okay, so this would be not a great roll, but I did get some dragon die there if it works. So 4, 7, 11.
11.
Yes.
Okay. And that's going to go against his strength. So I'm going to go and roll that. Oh, well, I think you might actually be good. You're good. Wow.
Excellent.
Very nice.
All right, so that would give me 2 stunt points. And I'm actually going to, because I have unarmed style and I'm a journeyman in it, so first I will do damage. And I will do 4 points of damage and use a stunt point to actually knock this guy prone.
Go for it. Go ahead and describe that whole sequence of events again.
Yeah. So again, as I feel him on my back, I'm using also his arms and his strength to roll myself over, wrenching his hand free, using my elbow to push his on his elbow, locking his arm and pushing him face first into the dirt.
Perfect. All right. So he sneers and lets out a wisp-like sound as he's smushed into the mud. And you hear the other ones cry out and let out war cries as the other 3 surround you. And you hear one of them shout out, and you can all kind of recognize it. You don't recognize all the words. You don't even know how you know this language. But you recognize some of the words as, "Take her, we'll take care of him."
Okay.
As
so
they turn towards you.
As I've got his arm down, I lift it up and I actually kind of put his wrist under my underarm. And I do a front roll, which would totally dislocate his shoulder as I roll over him. And as I stand up, I want to take a look around and see if I see where they have a Shara.
Okay. Go ahead.
If I can do all of that.
Yeah, I'll allow it. Right.
But
do a perception check just to see.
All right. A 9.
A 9. Okay. So you do all that, but it takes more out of you than you're expecting. And as you get yourself up to your feet, it's given the 3 others to circle in around you, blocking your view. And they are drawing closer and closer to you, snarling. Their teeth are jagged and sharp and pointed, as if they've been sharpened somehow.
And again, I know what, on some level, I should be disgusted because I know what they do. And yet, with this other entity inside me again, I feel comfort knowing that they are still animals and they survive as animals. And I will try to use cunning or communication. as you said, I understand the language and I'm not sure how. And so I'm going to try to speak directly to them in a similar manner. You know what I am capable of. You know why he seeks me. Do not waste your life. You have an opportunity to flee now.
Then you come with us.
8, 9, 10, 11 on the communication, at least.
11 on the communication.
Yeah.
So it doesn't look like they're backing down. They seem to slow a little bit at your words, but they don't seem to be taking it. But one of them seems to speak Elven. He looks a little older. You don't speak Elven, though, do you?
I do not.
You don't
Elven.
What kind of elf?
I think you would. I think you would know some like rudimentary Elven, like a 6-year-old's Elven.
Yeah. I would, again.
Or the way I
would
comprehend
be able-
French.
Yeah. I can speak very big.
You will come with us willingly, or you will... I don't know why he's French. You will come with us willingly, or you will come in binds.
I come with you. You let girl go. You let the others live. You will not feed on them.
That...
Or I will destroy you all.
Go ahead and do another communication roll.
Then 12.
12. Okay. So he snarls. That is not for us to decide. And he gestures for you to follow. And as you begin to step and the other ones begin to relax around you, you feel the dagger still in your hand warp and grow again and drop out of your hand. And the faint green glow that it was glowing before begins to pulse and get more and more intensely green as it lifts off the ground and begins to hover in the air above the four of you. And the savages hiss and snarl at it. And as they're distracted, you hear footsteps thudding through the grass. And a massive hammer comes out of the darkness and smashes one of the elves in the head. Its jaw and skull cracking as it is collapsed to the ground. And you see a bulking Talavashoth stand ready with his warhammer, ready to swing it around to another one. And you see the green orb that you now recognize as the orb that Cohen held shoot a beam of lightning out at one of the other elves. Penth. You hang on. You hang on to your axe as snow falls around you, pushing you downwards. And you feel yourself letting go. I need you to do a strength check.
$14 plus my strength.
Okay.
17. That
So-
being said, why do I hang on? I let go.
And fall. You plummet downwards, with the snow. You don't feel cold. You don't feel pain. You just fall. And you hit the ground. And you feel warmth. And you feel invigorated. Looking around, there's a big bonfire there before you. You can see that once, or you can't even see, you can feel the story of this bonfire, that once was a small bundle of twigs that caught flame. And it grew, but then it became stunted. It didn't grow anymore. But now the fire is a raging inferno in front of you, fully let free from whatever inhibitions grounded it and kept it from reaching this size. While you look at the flame, as you push yourself up off the ground, you see and you feel a sense of freedom, a new beginning. What's going through your mind?
I look around me, and do I see the axe anywhere laying there?
The axe is nowhere. You are by yourself.
I know I'm by myself in front of this flame.
You're by yourself in front of this flame. It is you and the flame.
I think of the flame and how it's been stunted, and now it's even still it survives and it thrives and it burns heavily with such intensity. And then I think to Emagin. I think of Grinner. And I think of my clan and how I too was stunted. I too have been held back from what I'm capable of. There's enough rage in me that I don't need to follow the way of the Amir anymore.
Your blood pumps through your veins, surging through your temples. And it feels like the flame wants a sacrifice. The ritual is almost complete. Do you wish to be a part of the raging flame, or do you wish to stay in darkness?
I step towards the flame.
You feel its heat on you, making you sweat. But you feel like the heat isn't just in your body, you feel it in your soul, burning.
I step into the flame.
Grinner.
I wait patiently in the darkness.
You see Penth sit up.
Fuck.
Bolt upright. His eyes are blood red. And he stands looking at the fire.
I sort of cautiously change my aim towards him.
And he doesn't look anywhere else. You see how pensive he is.
How pensive?
Pensive. He's very pensive. And he steps towards...
Sorry, I know I cut the tension, but I had to.
I know. He steps towards the flame and stands inches away from it. And then he shocks you by actually stepping into the fire.
Okay. I want, because as he was approaching the fire, I'm sort of gauging, and before he moved towards the fire, I wanted to do something. Can I act?
Okay. What do you want to do?
I want to fire an arrow through his foot, pinning him to the ground, if I can.
Okay.
That's my hope. Because I don't think I can get there in time to stop him, and he's going to burn himself on the fire. So my logic is pin him to his spot. With my skill, pin him to his spot. See, these guys have fancy karate skills. I have pin he to he spot. It's a Grinner skill.
Yes, falling leaf and twisting pine.
So 10, and I would be aiming. So 18.
18 to hit. Wow, so that's 4 plus bows plus aiming. Okay.
Yeah, my
So
aiming is plus my bow is +6 and then +2 for aiming.
Okay, so it definitely hits, but the ground is mud. Your arrow shoots through his foot, and
does he react at all?
Penth, you feel a surge of anxiety. Something shoots through you, and you feel that you can't. You can't be a part of this. You're not ready. You aren't who you want to be. You'll never be who you want to be. Do you continue, despite the fear, Penth, who is not muted? Penth is muted.
But real Penth isn't.
Sorry, guys. My screen keeps cutting out, so I couldn't even unmute myself. But luckily, it came back.
No problem.
It's cut out again, but I'm unmuted, so I'll just go with it.
Okay, so you feel...
I feel the pierce of something, just anxiety welling up in me, suddenly, sharply. And I hesitate before the flame. But at this point, I have nothing to lose. I need to turn my back on my past, and I need to move forward. I need to know now that my clan is Emagin. My clan is Grinner. I can't stop. I can't be stunted. I will not be little Penth anymore. And I step forward again.
God damn it.
Grinner, you go to reload as you see Penth step into the fire. And all of a sudden, the flames shoot into the sky, enveloping Penth far faster than any natural flame would. Penth, you stand in the middle of this bonfire. You feel your blood boiling. But as you feel the blood boiling within you, you feel that you deserve this. You are ready for this. You are ready for this intensity in your life.
And with it, I held nothing back as I scream into the night.
Grinner,
God damn it.
Penth lets out.
So with all my dexterity, I bolt at him and try to tackle him out of the fire.
Okay.
Ruining my advantage over the people that are going to come and kill us.
All right, go ahead.
I'm sorry that you've had to...
It's not your fault.
But I appreciate the fact that you won't let me pyre myself.
Oh, never. So, well, that's 14.
So strength, yeah.
And it kills Penth.
That would be funny. It's a opposed roll. So Penth, with this new power surging through you, do a strength roll.
Oh, wow. That's the exact same roll.
I have 18 plus
Yo,
my
we both got 4, 4, and 6. That's fucking hilarious.
Oh, sorry. I have 14.
Hold on.
17.
Acknowledge how cool that is. Somebody.
It's cool. It's really cool.
That's the first time we've ever rolled the exact same in any game we've ever played.
That's true.
Especially in an opposed sense. That's so cool.
Need some applause. We should get some applause.
That should. Well, by the time I cue it up, and then there we go.
You did it. You did it. That's the end of the game. That's how you beat the game.
We did it. We beat Dragon.
Okay, so what is it? His strength?
Yeah, it was opposed. What did you get, Chris?
Well, I got 19, including my might.
Okay.
Oh, so you had your might. So what am I adding? Dexterity, strength?
It is might, so strength.
So strength, so 0. So I don't add anything. So 14.
Okay. So with all your might, Grinner, you run forward, trying to get Penth out of the flame, and you slam against him. But with this almost unseen strength, you're pushed back.
And I stand right back up, and I scream at him, and I'm going to use courage or morale.
And I'm aware of something that's come in contact with me, and I turn towards it, ready to kill it, whatever it is.
Maybe, yeah, morale or courage? What would be better? No, morale, because I'm projecting it on him. Mm-hmm. And I'll scream at him, and I'll say, Penth, get out of the fire! No, I'll say something.
Bop me on the nose. Bad Penth.
Yeah. Bad Penth. No, I will say, what do you say? Penth, snap out of it? No, I'm trying to, I would just scream, probably Penth. I'd be like,
yeah.
Penth.
Well, you think I'm killing myself.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you're possessed because your eyes are red, or I can tell you're not of your mind. But anyway, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 for morale.
13. Okay.
What
So
do I hear?
you hear a voice.
And I'll say, you are burning yourself in the fire. Step out. Be stronger. Beat it. Fight it. Do not go into the fire.
It's muffled. But you feel that whatever it is trying to do, whatever it's trying to stop you from doing, it's already been done. You feel that you have reached a point in your own transcendence that you're ready to carry the bonfire with you. And you look down and you see not eyes or not a body, but you see a being, a sense of familiarity before you in the darkness. The feeling of a brother. The feeling that you thought you had with the Emir, but that looking back, you didn't really.
Do I see any response from him as I'm staring at him burning?
You do. You see him.
I make eye contact with Grinner.
Yeah,
okay.
eyes
As I
blood
look at
red
him in
still.
the darkness from the contrast with the flame that I stand in now. Knowing that I feel this, I feel that there is someone there, someone that I know, someone that I can trust. I step towards him.
Okay. You step out of the flame. And Grinner,
And I see him like
Penth,
say,
step towards him.
come, step towards me, Penth, follow my voice, listen to me, it's me, Grinner, you are my brother, you are my family, you are my friend, beat this, you are stronger than this, step towards me, step out of the fire.
I walk forward one step, agonizing after another. I step towards him.
Picturing Frankenstein.
And as you step away from the bonfire, you feel the warmth within you still. But you feel the strength leaving your body as you feel as if you are floating out of this place with the bonfire, with the darkness around. You're floating out. And for a split second, you see the face of Grinner before you, a look of concern, his eyes darting sideways every now and then. You seem to be standing in a marsh before you collapse.
And without waiting an instant, I grab his arm and I drag him into the mud and crouch. I stayed down as far as I can.
Okay. And as you pull him in, pretty much as soon as you pull him in, you hear the bushes moving on the other side of the camp.
So I pull him in and I set him down and I have my bow out, tracing whoever's walking through the woods.
Okay. And you see a figure step out into the encampment, one of the savages. He turns, looks both ways. His eyes stop on the opened corpse. His eyes stop on Aldo. And he turns toward Aldo. And he calls out into the night, "Hasara.
Is there anything near me? A stone, a branch, a log, anything that I could throw?
You have a bow.
No, that I could throw.
Oh, okay. Definitely, yeah. There's logs.
You have Penth.
You have Penth. Yeah.
Throw Penth. I could use a bow, but it would be too. I think it might be too quiet. So there is a log, or there is a stone. Sorry.
Yeah, you find a pretty good sized stone pretty easily.
Perfect. As he walks in the camp. Sorry, continue the situation. I'll interrupt one.
You saw him beckon more people to come into the encampment. So that's pretty much it.
Okay. So I would wait until I actually no, I would do it right now. With all my might, with my throwing skill, range, or whatever, I'm going to throw the stone in the farthest direction away from the fire. Try to get a splash or a sound.
Perfect.
And that's going to be 6, 7, 8, 9 plus, I guess, dexterity.
Yep.
Yeah. So 13, probably 13.
13. Okay. So you do manage to throw the stone in another direction, and his head jerks up as you see 3 more of these savages step into the clearing. And he looks towards that direction, and he gestures to one of them, and he points in that direction.
Okay.
And the other one moves away, but the 3 of them are still there.
So there's 4 total?
4 total.
Oh God. All right. Well, the minute the one goes off, I'm gonna follow him with my eyes until the other three maybe look away, and I'll pick him off then.
Okay.
So I'll basically be sneaking through the marsh towards the direction I threw the stone then.
Okay.
And 6. So 10, 12 plus sneak. What's sneak again? Dexterity?
Yep.
Or cunning?
Stealth.
Okay. Yeah. So 12. So 16 to sneak.
Okay. 16, and he also got 16, but I'm going to give it to you because you're
attacking.
He's attacking. He's trying to perceive. Oh wait, no, that's perception. Never mind. So you're good.
Cool. So I will follow him until he is out of sight of those.
You sneak through the Everglades and get to a point where
The Everglades.
Is it the Everglades? Is that what it is? It's like
there are the Everglades in Florida, aren't they?
That's kind of what this place is, kind of, I guess.
Guys, vacation.
So you get to a spot where he's standing over a misty pool of water with trees and moss hanging from it. And he stands looking, his knees slightly bent as he's ready.
And I pop up and again take aim and I fire at his head.
Just pop up like a gopher.
I'm just like, whoop. 6, 10, 11, plus 8. So 19.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
But there were no doubles, so it's going to be just regular damage.
Regular damn?
Yeah. Oh, you know what I'm going to do? Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. So that's, I guess that would be, 11 to hit. So that's 11 damage, sorry.
Yeah.
11 damage, and then for a free action, I'm going to go prone.
Okay. So
basically, I'm crouching. I pop up, fire at his head, and then I lie down amongst because it's like, I'm assuming it's like tall grass and stuff.
Yep.
I'm not gonna lie down on like a blank surface and just be like, "Hey guys, it's all good."
So you do. Your arrow connects. It hits him in the back, and his upper right shoulder blade, and he staggers forward, almost falling into the water. And he spins around angrily and begins to stagger out of the water, looking for you. But Grinner, you are concealed underneath a bush.
I figured I would just be lying down in the muck, right?
And you hear it walking around, trying to find you. Penth, you come to and realize you're in a marsh. You have very vague memories of dreams. And you feel warm, extremely warm, but not burnt. And you hear sounds coming from not too far away. And you see the scene that's been described before.
So I see Grinner trying to hide in the shrub beside me or near me.
I'd be a fair ways off because I followed him.
You're a fair,
Yeah.
Okay.
You're like right next to the encampment.
Okay, but I was dragged off by Grinner.
Yeah. You're just like on the edge of the encampment, so you can stand up and you can see all the encampment. You can see the 3 savages inside. You can see Aldo lying on the ground, a man you barely recognize, but you do recognize him from last night. You see them standing over an open corpse, and one of them is walking towards Aldo.
I walk towards them, almost in like a dreamlike state as I walk towards them. Kind of not even really aware of what I'm doing. I'm just kind of walking towards the heat of the flame.
They all turn towards you suddenly and let out a cry. And one of them takes a bone that he's holding, a big cudgel of a bone, and begins whacking a tree, the side of a hollow tree. Dum 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 dum. As they begin walking towards you.
So I realize what he's doing, and I feel the warmth of the flame, and I see as it moves, I get into a position ready to fight them as they approach.
Okay. And they all run towards you, 2 and first, and begin swinging at you. Now, Grinner, you hear this. You're lying in the brush. Intense moment as this other savage is right next to you, walking around, and you hear the thudding. Doom, 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 doom.
Does he react?
He does. He looks up, he stops, and you hear him pad off towards the encampment.
So the minute he passes by me towards the encampment, I pop up and I fire at him from behind.
Okay.
For 9, 10 plus, well, I guess I'd be aiming, so 16. Or sorry, 18.
18. Okay, no problem. It hits.
And that is going to be the same as last time. 11 damage.
All right, so your arrow kills him this time. Describe what you do and what your next action is.
So again, I stand up and I aiming at him as he runs away towards the sound. I let an arrow fly true and go right through the back of his skull as he falls down. And I'm like, yo, 3 headshot in a night. And I continue walking. And I get back down to a sneaking position and I creep up to the campfire from a safe distance. And
all right.
Sneaking for... Well, I don't think it'd be too tough to sneak, to be honest.
Yeah, you don't need to sneak too much because as you get to the encampment, you see 2 of them running towards Penth, who is now standing unarmed and looking not very threatening. You also see
I go,
Aldo pushing
damn
himself
it, Penth!
off the ground.
Aldo's on the ground, that's right. Is he stirring at all?
He is. He's pushing himself up
Okay,
off
good.
the ground. Now, and he's still bound. Now, while this is happening, Emagin is surrounded by elves, but Cohen and this Talvashoth have come to kill the elves. I want everybody to roll initiative.
Even us?
Even you, every single one of you.
11 plus 2, so 13.
13?
Yeah.
All right. Chris and...
I got 15. 16.
16. What do you add to it?
My dexterity.
Oh.
So what have you got? You got...
Oh, never mind. So I have 11 plus 6. So I have 17, sorry.
You have 17. Okay. I didn't look. I haven't been...
Well, that's fun.
14.
Because
Yeah.
I got 15 total.
Oh, there you go. 16, 15, 16, 17. I was going to say, this is for
P90X.
one, I better get initiative first because this is I took initiative as a bonus. And I think every time I'm not first. It's like, what's the point of
Are you
taking
giving yourself
initiative?
+2 for having the initiative bonus too?
That's what my total is.
Okay.
Because it would be 4 normally, so it's +6. So that's 16, 17. Yeah.
All right. So
Shrubbery.
we have first is Grinner.
All right.
We have, Penth. Then we have Emagin. Okay, that works. And then, good. Okay, yep. Grinner, go ahead.
So are all 3 of the guys remaining, or is it 4? No, 3. All running towards Penth?
2 of them are running towards Penth. The other one is eyeing Penth.
Okay.
And
what-
he has a dagger in his hand.
And do any of the others have weapons?
One of them has a bone cudgel,
Okay.
but that's it.
All right. I will. I guess I think I'll take a shot at the farthest one from him.
All right, the one standing with the dagger?
Yes, because he's the closest to Aldo then, right?
Yep.
So, 11, 12, 13 plus
Okay.
8. So
That's a
20.
hit.
Yeah. Okay, but it's just regular damage. So that's 12, right?
12 points of damage. When you were rolling...
No,
4,
sorry. 7,
10.
8, 9, 10. Sorry, 10.
So your arrow flies through the air and pierces him in the chest, and he staggers back and looks in your direction and begins to cry out as Penth begins to engage the 2 that are running towards him. Penth, what do you do?
I feel the rage of the fire burn inside me. I look them in the eye and I just scream at them. As I run towards them and I grab them by the throat, I'm going to try to hold them into the flame. I just try to choke slam them into the fire and hold them in there.
Okay. Both of them?
as I'm going up, I'm actually going to scoop some dirt, and throw it at the one guy's eyes to try to blind him. Just really dirty fighting. Grab the next guy by his throat and try to hold him into the fire.
Okay, I'm going to let you do the dirt. I'll say the dirt is successful for stunt points.
Okay.
So if you use 2 stunt points, then...
Yeah, no stunt points, but that's okay, because I want to connect with the other guy.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to grapple with him as I pull him, and I try to, basically I want to, grab him by his throat as hard as I can, just crunching and pull him into the fire, and just scream at him as I hold his head in the flame.
Okay, so you roll for damage, because that hits, while I roll to see whether or not he's able to resist your push into the flames. And what did you roll again?
For my damage?
Yeah, or your attack.
I can't remember. A 6, 4,
a 4, a 6, and a 3.
Okay, so 13 plus my my fighting, brawling. So 17.
17 goes to the attacker. So you do manage to push him into the flame, and he cries out as the flame licks around your arm and his head. Now you do feel pain. You do feel pain, though you do feel resistant to the flames somewhat at this point. How much damage do you do?
10 points of damage.
10 points.
Now, have I gone full Reaver?
You have. You're a Reaver now.
In that case, what is his Constitution modifier?
His Constitution, pardon me, is 2.
Okay. So as I see him suffer, as he was going to attack me, so with such ineptitude, I look at him and I see him suffering, and something about it bolsters my rage as I look towards the next one coming at me. And I just make eye contact as I hold his friend in the flame.
All right.
It bolsters my will.
Right. How much willpower do you get?
I don't get willpower. It actually gives me health.
Oh, I see. So how much? Oh, okay. So over on attack. Okay, perfect. So you can feel his life force being sucked into you as you hold him into the flames. Now, Emagin, you stand surrounded with these 3 savages. One of them, or 4 of them were there, but one of them, their face got smashed in by the Talvashoth's hammer. And you stand there ready to act. What do you do?
I'm going into leaf floats on the river.
Okay.
Which is essentially just trying to evade their attacks as I work my way behind the Talvashoth.
Perfect.
Not really attacking, just working my way defensively and moving with and around them as they go.
All right, so why don't we treat that as like a full defense?
That's what I was thinking.
All right, that sounds good. Now, the Cohen and Rourke, Cohen and the Talvashoth, they continue to fight. And you see 2 of the elves turn on the Talvashoth. But one of them seems to be a little bit smarter, and he doesn't attack the orb floating in the sky. Instead, he turns, and you see the figure of Cohen in the background. And he turns to Cohen and sneers, but then turns back towards you and runs to grab you. And he is going to get... What is your defense right now?
What does full defense give me?
You get a +2.
A +2, so that would be a 14.
14. So he manages to grab you. And with a rake-like claw, he slashes at your face and deals 7 points of damage. So you feel blood begin to trickle down your cheek as its nails thrash into you, and you see him start to breathe heavier and salivate a little as he sees the blood. As the other ones continue to fight, we go back to the fire where the savage that was just shot in the chest runs towards you, Grinner.
Oh, bitch.
And he gets within striking distance of you.
Really?
Yeah. He's not too far away, unless you were deeper in.
I figured I was like really far away. Like I wouldn't have fired from any close. Put it this way,
Okay.
I wouldn't have fired from close enough for him to run and attack me in one turn.
Fair enough. I won't say that he's just going to run. He's just going to full-on run towards you, so that he gets within 3 feet of you.
Okay.
He's very close. The other two, the one who wasn't thrown into the fire slashes at you, Penth. And with a 13, are you hit?
Tie goes to the attacker, right?
Right. So you feel the weight of a bone smash into your back. As you take, 9 points of damage. Minus your armor.
Right.
So it connects, and you're winded a little bit. As the other one, as you hold its face into the fire, you feel it open its mouth and bite down on your hand. And I'm just going to give him that attack because
Sounds nice.
It's right there.
All right.
And you take 7 points of damage. So you feel blood begin to pool into his mouth, and you feel him breathe heavier as he's screaming as the flames are surrounding him. But he bites into you, and he does not let go. We are back to the top. Grinner.
It's
this
interesting
one
for
sack.
attacks like that when you think, because you would still detract armor, but realistically, how the hell would your armor protect that? You know what I mean? Like, it's like someone jabbing you in the eyeball. It's like, no, deduct your armor. It's like, really? Okay, so he's right before me. So I'm a bit panicked because he's bull rushed me pretty damn quick. And I draw and I fire again, but this time I don't aim because it's more interesting. 9, 10, 11 plus 6 is 17.
No problem. You hit him.
But I don't. I'm not going to do enough damage to kill him. 7, 8, 9 damage.
It is actually enough.
Oh, thank God. So,
yeah, your arrow does connect with him, and it hits him in the gut this time because you didn't really aim. And he continues barreling forward, even though he is collapsing as well. And he slumps up against you as he collapses into the ground.
And I push him aside, and I run for Aldo.
Okay. Aldo is just pushing himself up off the ground. And he turns and he sees you, and he reaches up and he pulls the gag off his mouth. He doesn't know why he didn't take that off his mouth sooner. It's just because his hands were free. And he says, he doesn't say anything. He just nods. And
I'm only about halfway to him anyway.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true.
Well, because if it took a guy's full turn to get 3 feet from me, it shouldn't take me only half my turn to get to him.
Correct.
See, I'm fair.
So he's pushing himself up, and he looks like he's getting ready to attack, but he'll be ready next turn. Penth, it's you again. What do you do?
As it bites me, I just start pounding his face in as he's in the flame, and I'm just pounding and pounding as best I can.
Okay.
Stop him. And I hit.
Yep.
And I do 6 points of damage.
All right. It is enough. So as you hold his head in the flame, you grit your teeth as he bites into your hand's flesh. And you take your other fist and begin pounding him into the fire. And actually describe it. Describe how...
So as I feel his bite in me, instead of hanging on to him, I just let that be, the anchor. I just pound him until he stops, till his teeth are still biting into me, but it's not as firm anymore. And then as I feel that it goes, I open his jaw to let him drop in the flame, and I turn towards the next person.
Perfect. And he snarls at you, getting his bone club ready again to smash into your head.
Can I go into defensive stance, or is that a major action?
Oh, that's a major action.
Okay.
As we jump over to Emagin. Emagin, you've just been slashed across the face by one of the savages.
And continuing, in a sense, with the leaf floats down river, I roll with it and rolling under and working my way to try to get behind. And if I can, as I'm rolling, reaching up and grabbing him by the head, across the chin and the back of the head, and snapping it as I go.
Oh, okay. So go ahead.
9, 13, 14.
Okay, that is a hit. Let's see how much damage you do.
Not too much, just 2.
2 points of damage.
So just a quick little, yeah, that was a nice adjustment.
Yeah. And yeah, he gets more health. Okay, so you do manage to swing around him and to the other side, but you aren't able to snap his neck. Though you do feel him crane around with you, and it is very uncomfortable for him. Okay. And you hear the Tal Vashoth fighting with the 2 other ones, and you catch a glimpse of him swinging his hammer at one, and the savage ducking beneath it as the other one jumps onto his back, and he reaches and grabs that one and tries to shake it off. And while that's happening, you hear the orb in the air again shoot something out towards the man that's attacking you. And it doesn't seem to connect. Jumping to the savages with Penth, his bone club comes down and smashes against your head. Or maybe it does, or maybe it doesn't. I haven't rolled yet.
It might, but it doesn't.
So we've got a...
It hits.
16. So it hits, and he's going to add... Oh, wow, you're lucky. 3, 4, okay. So you take 12 points of damage as the bone connects with your head, but it connects at a really hard spot, and it doesn't seem to phase you too much.
Penth, hard-headed? Oh, come on.
That's like laugh track worthy. 90s
good.
laugh track.
I thought it was funny. Hey, the dislike disappeared.
Hey!
Somebody changes their mind. Yay.
Thank you. I'm glad we could redeem ourselves.
It's going to come back now. Don't say that.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, no. All right. So, Penth, you've been hit. And I believe that is the last one. So we're back to Grinner.
They're all dead?
Nope. There's one that's smashing his bone club into Penth's head.
I will turn and fire at him after aiming. Oh, he's going to die terribly. So that's 14 plus 8. So 22. And for the 4s, I will... He doesn't have armor, so I won't bother piercing armor. I will... I guess I'll Mighty Blow for 2, and I will... Oh, and I'll disarm, because you said he had the club, right?
Yep.
Perfect. So I'll disarm him, and I will do the first one I said, which was Mighty Blow.
I would like to encourage you, when you spend your stunt points, is there a way that you can interact with Penth to...
I was thinking it'd be cool to do... there was one that sounded like it would, Dual Strike, but it's not.
It's not.
Well,
okay.
he can disarm it. He can take the story. I'll play it out for you. We'll
So
see.
say that again. Yeah. So you shot, but you want me to interact with it?
Yeah, I shot him. Well, let's see how much damage I do first off, because if I
Sure.
kill him, then it won't make a difference. But if we disarm him, then you can take the bone from him. To 2d6 plus 7. I think he's probably dead. So that's 6, 7, and 5. That's 6, 6, What's that?
6, 18. It's 18.
5 plus 6 plus 7, 18. 18 damage. Is he still standing?
No. He
Okay.
is dead. But how did that look? This is
Okay.
the last one. He's bringing his bone club up again to hit Penth.
So I see the guy attacking Penth, and I draw another arrow and let it sing true as the club is in his hand, and the arrow actually pierces through his hand, bringing it down as Penth sees the club come back and knock the club out of his hand, and he tumbles forward in the fire with the momentum that we both brought him. And he's dead.
The sound
Of dropping.
He's dead. All of the savages that you fought are dead. And a calm kind of falls over the encampment as you catch your breath. Emagin, you see the bolt of lightning shoot through the air and hit the ground next to the savage that you're fighting. And though you are muted, you do feel like
that
you
was the
can
way.
make an impact. What do you do?
Interesting question. So the bolt of lightning hits the ground.
Yeah.
Again, if in that moment that I see it shooting down, and I've still kind of was working on cranking his head, I actually let this hand, as I see that its neck isn't going, I let that hand slide and use the elbow to knock him forward into the lightning.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Okay. So you're using magic to... Okay.
Because you said the lightning crashing down. I was in that moment where I was twisting.
Yeah.
But it didn't really crank. So I just
That's
let that slide
pretty
off.
quick. I gotta say, that's pretty quick.
It's almost like
Yeah.
lightning fast.
That's lightning
Lightning
speed.
fast.
That's like a lightning attack.
It is. Which is why it probably doesn't hit. I have 5, 6, 7, 11.
11 to hit?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that is not a hit. Now, does the community want to help Emagin out to make this happen, to land this attack?
Sounds like an evil attack. I don't think we should incorporate it.
The community can help in whichever way they want.
But then you're just you're just enforcing this negative behavior.
You've been reading kids' books?
Oh, thank you, Jake.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what told me this is a bad idea. If your child tries to use lightning to his advantage...
Do not give him a cookie.
All right. So Jake Ortega donated some XP.
Hey, thank you, Jake.
So I guess it would be I don't know. So how did you want me to do that? Just add a D6 or
Add a D6, yep, or
Okay,
replace
so
one of them. Replace your lowest with a D6.
I don't want to replace my lowest because my lowest is a 2.
Okay,
If I replace a 3, then I get 2 points of stunt points.
Oh.
But I'll replace the lowest and no stunt points. So that would give me 10, 14 total.
14. Okay, so now it does hit.
Yeah. All right.
So you do connect with him, and yeah.
And again, it's more of a push than an actual. So, but 6 damage.
Hey, all right. That's exactly what you needed to kill him. So, describe it for me. The lightning from the ball shoots down into the ground and flickers for a few moments.
And just at that flicker,
in space.
as we're having that moment of just struggle, because as I worked my way around him, grabbing him and trying to snap it quickly, which didn't work, he gets a fight back. And seeing that doesn't work, I hit him in the back of the head, which jostles him forward into the spark.
Perfect. Okay. So it actually does a little extra damage, so because of the lightning. But you pull back or you keep your elbow on him, and realize that he's not breathing anymore. And everything is silent. You turn and look towards the Talva Shoth, who was fighting two of them, and one of them is lying on the ground, and he walks towards you and drops the other one on the ground in front of you. And grunts.
Now, is he
turns
injured
around
at all?
What's that?
Is he injured at all?
He looks at you. And he looks at his shoulder, which has some deep gash marks. And he sneers. And begins wiping the blood off of his warhammer. As you hear footsteps coming through the brush.
Thank you, my friend. It was fortuitous timing. I appreciate that you've been with me the whole way. May I return the favor and heal that wound? For I believe that I can heal safely.
We return the favor.
I mean, I'm Elven height anyway. You're a huge guy.
Let me just make it up to you.
And he gives you a hesitant look. And you hear the voice come from the field behind you. It's all right, Rourke. Let him do it. And so he holds out his arm. And he stares at you the whole time. Intense gray eyes gazing into your soul.
Okay. As I focus as hard as I can. Again, there's a part of me that's feeling good because helping people is actually always what I've wanted to do, help the less fortunate, and I realize he's quite capable of taking care of himself. And I realize that I can still use that part of me that defines me and makes me different. I just have to use it cautiously and use it only to help. And there's a good feeling about that as well. That I'm not totally useless.
So I'm not going to make you roll. I'll say that you're able to mend his wounds. Just spend whatever MP you would have.
Yeah.
And you hear the footsteps get closer, and eventually you see Cohen standing before you under the green light of his orb. And he holds his hand up, and it falls into his hand. And as it rests in the palm of his hand, the light begins to dim. And he cocks his head, and he says, "It looks like you had quite a night last night."
Unfortunately, I know nothing of it, go on.
Well,
I have vague memories of the town, interacting with the whole time I was fighting off that creature. And now, I must tell you honestly, I think the path that you had started me on, I don't feel I'm strong enough. I feel like that creature is overwhelming me.
well, that's very interesting. And he begins to pace back and forth, as if considering something.
And I must tell you also that in this way, I feel like I should be sharing this information now with Grinner and Penth. I don't know if I like the whole time I was blacked out. I don't even know what happened. I don't even know what happened to Carthage.
Shut up, boy. I don't give a fuck about them. I just care about you and what's inside of you. And we have a lot to discuss. And we're going to jump to Grinner and Penth. As we fly away from Emagin in the field with Cohen and Rourke, Grinner, you stretch and
I walk over to Penth and I help him up, or just walk over to him because you're probably not down. And I kind of say, "I thought I might have lost you there for a minute, Penth. You walked right into that fire."
I did, and I walked out someone new.
Fair enough. Look, what happened back there with Carthus and Faust, it's not going to be easy for me to get past. I'm just going to be honest with you. I feel like we failed Emagin right now. But if he's alive or dead, we need to find him. I think we owe him that much.
I think so as well. And you see Alzombra step out of the shadows, and he wipes his dagger, which is covered in blood. And you see some scratch.
And I look at Grinner. How is he here?
I paid him to follow us. I was concerned that there may be a situation that required someone outside of our party. And as luck would have it, he was the person who cut me free and the person who saved our lives.
I am going to be honest. I did not want to reveal myself, Grinner, but I do not want to be out here alone. I am a shadow, but I am also human. This place is unnatural. I wish to stay with you.
I agree. I think at this
You have
point,
no right to be here. I look at Alzombra, and I look at Grinner. We talked. We decided not to bring him. I do not trust him.
We have bigger problems, gentlemen. Aldo steps in between you, and he looks back and forth between all of you. What the hell is going on? I got to admit, I'm first off, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I should have listened to you sooner. But it seems that it's not just us who has this problem. This is a problem for all of Thedas, it seems. The power that we witnessed in that boy earlier is the power of no demon.
Grindelwald is his name. He's something that months ago was awakened in a tower, Blacksleep Tower. And I don't know why, but he's inhabited our friend Emagin, and we need to cast him out. We're going to where he was brought up, Emagin. That's where we were taking him. He had a vision that there was a gemstone or a stone, ritual stone of some sort there that would be able to cast out whatever is in him. And whether Emagin is alive or dead, we need to find his body, because the spirit could still remain there. And if not, we need to find who might have killed him.
And Alzombra turns to Penth, and he gives him a "please, we don't need to fight" sort of look.
You would say something like that. I spit at the ground, and I walk past him.
Very well.
I say, Penth, it's not...
Shut up, Grinner. And I walk away. I can start packing up my stuff.
You don't have much stuff, Penth.
He packs up his loose cut binds.
Well, I imagine there's something we can get from this. We don't have anything left there, eh?
Nope. No, not.
Then I just walk off towards the direction we're going. So I'm going to find Emagin.
So
And as
go
Penth
ahead
leaves-
go ahead and search for. You
We're going to do like tracking, see if there's,
Yeah.
As Penth walks past, I turn to Aldo and I say, Aldo's right. Penth, it doesn't do us any good right now to fight about this.
I got 16.
Okay. So looking around, you see a streak of a path being led through the trees.
I say he was here. He went that way. I stand up to walk.
And Grinner speaks.
And I turn to Aldo and I turn to Alzombra and I say, fair enough. Let's go find our boy.
They nod. And that's where we're going to end it tonight.
What? Crazy reveals. Alzombra is real. I mean, here, finally. Emagin is alive. Maybe. The guy Cohen seems to be a jerk. I killed more people than Penth.
What is the
No, great game, Justin. Well, very well done.
Well done, Justin.
Whoa, Bobby Lyle stays silent the entire game and jumps in now. Good game. He really was mature with this one. He was like, I'm not going to bother at all. I'm just going to hang out at the end. But thank you guys for hanging out. Appreciate whoever downloaded it. Changed their minds. So very cool. I guess it was just your storytelling, Justin.
Yep.
They went, fuck it. Maybe Johnny Depp is a douchebag.
That's what they were really here for.
Yeah, that's what they're here for. No, well done, Justin. Thank you to the guys below me. Thank you to you guys, the community, for watching and hanging out. This is always such a blast. Next week, we're going to be back with part 9 of Dragon Age, right before the big finale. It's going to be interesting. I think we're going to lose at least one of these main characters. I feel like that's sort of just, I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's fair to force it and not, you know, but who knows? Maybe we're not all going to come out of this live. Maybe we'll all be over at the end of this. But anyway, it's going to be an exciting finale. So make sure you check that out. Next week, episode 9, the week after, episode 10. Then our XP extravaganza before the end of the year. Then we start a whole new campaign. So make sure to hang out. As always, you guys are awesome. See you Friday night for the Spooky Night stream, game night stream. We're doing The Evil Within, which is a cool little game. That's it. Make sure you comment and hang out lots during the week on the group. We always love to talk and hang out. That's it for me. You guys good?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you all for watching. I really loved seeing you all there.
Have a great night, guys. And as Chris likes to say,
we'll see you around the table.
We'll see you around the table, guys. Good night.